It is the Instant Ryder Cup reaction, knee-jerk reaction podcast. That's myself, Frankie, and Trent. It's all brought to you by Chevy. We love Chevy. Again, they've been with us for a long time. We're looking for positives right now. You know, we're in this world and we're looking for positives. We do a couple hours breaking down the entire Ryder Cup. A positive in our lives is Chevrolet, and the Chevy Equinox EV. It's a fantastic vehicle. I actually am renting one these next couple days while I'm in North Carolina, going to these Barstool Classics. And the Equinox EV, fellas, from Chevy is elite.
Yeah, pretty somber feeling, especially losing a home Ryder Cup for me and for all of us on our home soil. But a lot to take away from this, a lot of positives to take away from this. We get into all of it. There's a lot more, I think, deep diving into why we think that this went the way it did than you probably anticipated as a listener. And I think that, this is something that we really do care about. Like, we want this team to freaking figure it out. And there's a lot at play here, and I think we dive into a lot of the good stuff. So it's a great show, great company, and Chevrolet is the reason we're able to do all this stuff and be able to be at the Ryder Cup and all these things. It's awesome. So thank you to them.
Tons to unpack, as folks can imagine. The fans, Rory, Shane Lowry, the comeback, Keegan's captaincy, Luke Donald's captaincy, who's going to be captain next. All of it. Like I said, we talk Ryder Cup for a couple hours, and a big thanks to Chevy and the Equinox EV, which offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front-wheel drive. Equinox EV has the massive 17-inch diagonal center screen, the largest of any EV in its class. So make sure you go check out that Chevy Equinox EV. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make.
I heard a great stat from an unnamed vice captain that I saw today. On the golf course that rhymes with Misner, but he was saying, like, we're actually hitting it closer to the pin than they are. We are, like, the course strategy is working. We're getting on the green better than they are. And they're just making putts from the parking lot. So, like, that was kind of the other side of it, where it's like the narrative of this course setup thing is kind of wrong. Like, we are doing everything we wanted to do. We're getting on the green more than they are, and we're hitting it closer to the pin than they are. They're making putts from the parking lot. They're making putts from freaking Melville. It's like, at some point, you got to tip your cap.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. It is the 2025 Ryder Cup knee-jerk reaction show. What a Sunday that was. It's about 7 p.m. here on Sunday night. This is a wildly different show than it was going to be about 7 hours ago. I have been throughout the entire week, spending time all day out there at the course, Friday, all day Saturday, keeping just the longest laundry list of things to discuss in a notes app throughout the entire week. And it was all contemplation, where to go from here, second guessing. Do you need to blow it up? Who's to blame? Is it the players? Is it the captain? Is it the entire country of the United States of America? Is it the chicken or the egg? All of that. And now we sit here with a dramatically better taste in our mouth. I think we still, as we relive a lot of the things that happened over the weekend, we're going to get frustrated. We're going to get probably a little bit optimistic. We're going to get all kinds of the stuff. And I don't know that we've ever had more to unpack on a show than this one. But I want to say the European team throughout those 3 days is some of the most impressive golf I think I've ever seen. And then I want to give a huge kudos to the American players who could have come out, laid an egg today, and I think been shit upon dramatically forever. And instead, they truly were a couple putts away from somehow winning that fucking Ryder Cup today. And that's just amazing.
Yeah, I was ready to come on here and call this the worst Ryder Cup in the history of Ryder Cups. And for 2 days it was. And then we had a day like today that was really pretty incredible. But the first 2 days, I don't want it to get lost just how bad that was. And I do want to talk about the positives of today. But, like, for 2 days, it wasn't fun at all. Like, Bryson made the birdie putt the morning of Friday morning. And it was like, okay, now this is a real spark and we're going to have an awesome Ryder Cup. And I think from then on until today, there wasn't a 15-minute stretch even where we were like, this is really fun. The Americans have momentum and they are winning matches and they are making putts. So I'm sure we're going to go through all of it because there really is a lot to get to. And then today was incredible. Today was like, you don't want to have such an epic comeback. Like, you want to play better the first 2 days, but if you're going to have a day like that, you want to have a day like today where there's 3 matches left out there on the course and the Americans still have a chance to win it. It ended up being a great Sunday at the Ryder Cup. I'm not yet ready to call it a great Ryder Cup, and I don't think I ever will. But yeah, today was pretty incredible. And Frankie, I know you were out there.
Yeah, I just got back from the course. I mean, I think it's okay to call it a great Ryder Cup because it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's just like the Ryder Cup isn't just a 2-day event, which I think we definitely get worked up about each day. And like, you know that you only have a finite amount of golf to watch. There's only a certain amount of groups. There's only a certain amount of days, but singles is the most important part of the Ryder Cup. Like you get 12 guys out there. You got a ton of points. There's a lot that can happen. We always say like, just keep it close and then anything can happen on Sunday, which is not really what they did. They kind of got boat raced for 2 straight days, but obviously close enough to the point where we got to the end and we got to where we got to. So I just think there was a lot of takes getting thrown around there. People are getting frustrated, as they should. I was one of them. I think we all were. Showing up, it's the Ryder Cup, it's Bethpage. We said it's going to be the biggest event in golf. We just got waxed in Rome. This is a home game. We got to be able to make sure that we win this thing, because if they just come here and they win a road Ryder Cup at Bethpage, it's going to be the worst look ever. You come out, you throw a couple duds out, and it starts to just everything just starts to compile all these hot takes and everything that we said happens with Ryder Cups. The narratives start to change. Everyone's saying the crowd sucks and New York sucks. Now we're blaming the ticket pricing and the way that the shuttles were bringing people in. And we're blaming, at one point, we're blaming phones.
The MC on the first tee.
Somebody blamed phones, like in the year 2025, as if that hasn't been at literally every single event in the world. To the point where I was having to have I was stopping at the golf course being like, if you're a rational thinker, and we're all agreeing at the golf course, me and everyone at the golf course today was like, if you just make putts and balls start going into holes, people start cheering. If you're a rational thinker watching this thing at home and you're like, I want to watch the Ryder Cup, and it's boring, and you're like, why is the crowd not going nuts? Do you watch sports? I mean, do you have you ever heard of quieting a crowd as a road team? You go out there, you score the first goal in hockey, you go down, you march down the field in football. It's one of the most important things to do as a road team in all of sports is to jump out to an early lead. And the crowd can never truly genuinely get behind the home team, because we live in a world where things are just normal. Reactions and emotions are normal. We don't fabricate things. I'm not going to sit at the 17th green while the team is down 8.5 to 2.5 and be like, yes, another loss. This is unbelievable. You got it, guys. No, I'm going to sit there and be like, this fucking blows. So the fact that I even have to come on here and explain the way fandom works or the way cheering works is insane. And what you saw today is another side of the normalcy, where it's come out hot. You get JT out there. You've got Bryson making a huge comeback. Things started to I was out there today, guys. You felt that heartbeat in the whole golf course. The roars were happening all around the golf course. And you would see, I was watching JT. I would follow JT the whole entire round. And then I would go behind. And when JT would finish a hole, I'd watch Scotty and Bryson. But they'd see it, and then they'd go over to Keegan and they would give him a fist bump, and they would be looking up at the screen. There was a heartbeat today, and the crowd could feel it. They weren't being mean. It was all positive USA stuff. Today is the day that you needed to really show what the Ryder Cup could be. I'm very proud that we got to that point. I feel like we needed that. If you throw out a dud today, it's definitely the worst Ryder Cup of all time. I'm not happy we lost. I think we can go through everything that went wrong. I mean, it's a disaster that they lost, right? You got completely fucking mollywopped for 2 straight days. It's a disaster losing this Ryder Cup, especially with the teams and how good our fucking potential is. Look what we did today. We're a better team. The potential is there. We have better golfers on the team. That's why they were minus 150 going in, and they got crushed.
Yeah, I agree. And the fan thing, one of the key things that I wrote down was to sit here and say that you could sit there all day and argue, are the fans not loud enough and therefore the players not feeling the energy, or are the players not delivering to where the fans aren't then having anything to cheer for and they're all getting frustrated? So that's why chicken or the egg, what comes first? You could argue that forever. I would just say that we as the United States of America lost that Ryder Cup. It wasn't anything in particular. It was, I think, from every person on down to Scotty Scheffler, the best player in the world. I think everybody's sort of at fault for losing that. And what I mean by that is I do think that you as a player, sometimes when you're sitting at a hockey game or a football game, you kind of could really use your crowd to fucking get behind you and like pick you up. And I don't think the fans overall were doing that great. I don't think the energy on that first tee for the first couple days, having been out there at 4 a.m, was like as great as it's been over there in Europe. It almost felt like this nervous tension. And so, yes, you as the hardworking folks that go out there, spend $750 or more on tickets, take a day off work if it's Friday, get up at 3 a.m, battle through all of the crowds and the waiting and the lines, and then get in there and barely get yourself a seat. Or if you don't get yourself a seat, you are battling your dick off all day long to see any golf shots. It's impossible. There's only 4 groups on the entire course. There's 60, 70,000 people. You could barely see any golf shots. So when you've posted up for 2 hours, you're in the sun, and you finally get to see a group come through, and Europe just fucking buries a putt and all their fans are singing in your face. Of course, eventually it's going to get to the point where you're not all cheery and excited and you get fucking frustrated and pissed. It's sports. And I think everybody had so many different hot takes that, to your point, Frankie, of just like simplifying the fact that sports fandom was just playing out in a team environment in golf where it doesn't usually play out. Everyone's trying to sort of overcomplicate it. And you're always going to get in anything, in crowds, in sports, in politics, you're going to get a certain percentage of people that are going to go over the line. There are like 60,000 people out there, and the only thing separating them from the golfers is a rope like the size of a fucking thumbtack, and they're out there pissed off, drinking, whatever. And so you're going to get stuff. I thought overall, I was really listening. We went Cal Clutterbuck and Brandel and myself and my parents had a couple drinks last night. Brandel was dropping some stats of like, he said it. I was retweeting one of the clips. So Europe in alternate shot on Friday morning, Europe was 16 under par, which is like unheard of. That's at Bethpage Black. That format is insane. It's alternate shot. A lot of times pars are tough to come by. It's just you can't get in the rhythm, the whole deal. And the U.S., not only, we got beat, all that. Not only did the U.S. come out and play better on Saturday, they equaled that unbelievable performance by Europe on Saturday morning and shot 16 under par. Europe just took it to another level and shot 22 under par. And it was just for 2 days straight. Every single time one of our guys would stick one close, they would stick one close as well. Every time one of our putts would finally drop, they would cut to one of their guys having a 15-footer, and they would bury the putt. And so you want to be pissed at the American players. You want to be mad at Scotty Scheffler starting 0-4 as the number 1 player in the world. Everybody's talking about how he's on this generational dominance. He's going to have this career that's going to be unmatched. And he goes out as our horse, and you got Rory and Rahm and Fleetwood are winning every match, and our top dog's getting killed. You want to be pissed. But also it's like they just played insanely good golf. And there's times where it's like you want to blow it all up. You want to have all of these hot takes about Keegan, about the pairings, about the golf course, about all of it, about we all want to get paid. They don't. They hug each other better than our guys hug each other, and the necking and the whole deal. And like at the end of the day, it's like they just really did play fucking unbelievable golf. Now we're still going to unpack all of that. There's a lot of hot takes about the pairings and whatnot. But I do think it's like, it's not like we sucked and our guys just all choked and were awful. It was like, yes, I know our guys to a certain level felt like they could have played better. Putts weren't dropping, which is the most like common quote ever in one of these events, but they also played fucking phenomenal in that environment. Rory with the crowds and the whole deal, telling people to shut the fuck up and then hitting it to like 3 feet. Like all of that is so insanely impressive that part of you also has to tip your cap and be like, that's so impressive what the European team did.
Yeah, in regards to the fan thing, for me, I fall more on the side of you have to play well, not to earn them getting excited, but it is a sporting event. So if you're not going to play well, like I said, there wasn't even a stretch there for a couple of days, it felt like, where you could get momentum, where nothing. USA chants could start breaking out throughout the course, and then it starts to spread like wildfire. So I do think, I mean, a lot of this starts with the players. And I, back in 2023, we don't have to get too far into it. That was part of my point with Zach, where it was like, I understand that maybe you can disagree with some of the pairings, and you can disagree with all of these things, but at some point, Scotty Scheffler has been on both these teams and barely scored any points for either one of those teams. So you can be the greatest captain in history, and still end up with results like this. And it's, yeah. And when you say it comes down to the players, I think for that, I lean more towards the Europeans were just absolute world beaters this week. Every putt, every approach shot. It wasn't that, I mean, Scotty just didn't play well and he didn't win a point until today, but the Europeans were just on fire. They really, it's a tough thing to do. Rory talked about it a couple years ago where he was like, the hardest thing to do in golf is win a Ryder Cup on foreign soil. And he had said, we're going to do that at Bethpage Black. And they did it. And they made it look easy for 2 days. The third day was a lot harder, but it's really hard to do. They're really well prepared. There's so many Luke Donald quotes from every player being like, he's the greatest leader in the history of men. He's the greatest European captain of all time, which I don't disagree with. But it's almost like and listen, everybody listened to Paul McGinley for 3 days, which made me just want to rip out the hair that I don't have, because he was so
criminal.
And I think that was part of. But I think that was part of it. Like, I think they brought him and Brad Faxon in to sort of be this dueling homers up in the booth. And McGinley really, he went crazy with it. He was saying us and we, and every time he had an opportunity to talk about Luke Donald, he gave him the greatest blowjob of all time. It was really an incredible thing to listen to throughout the weekend. But yeah, I mean, Luke Donald, he clearly has something going on behind the scenes, because he must do something incredible with these players, because I think we would all agree that Keegan Bradley leading up to this thing, all of the chatter from the guys on Team USA and all the media members and everybody was like, Keegan is doing an incredible job preparing this team for this Ryder Cup in New York. And then it just goes the other way. And it's like, holy shit, Luke Donald is still the greatest Ryder Cup captain of all time, I guess. It's fucking crazy.
There's a lot that goes into it. So when you want to talk about Keegan as a captain, I think he did do a great job based off of what everyone was saying. And you saw whatever speech he gave or however he got the guys going today, gave them that fire to make that comeback and give themselves a chance to win. They never gave up. They really rallied around each other. There's all these clips of Scotty in tears after his match today.
That was awesome.
Talking about what that team room meant to him and how tight of a group they are. I watched Keegan today running up and down. Like I said, I was following these guys right up on the ropes today, watching Keegan run up and down every single fan, giving them high fives. He was with every group at every moment somehow, right? Like just getting carted to every single green. He was right in these guys' face whenever they made a putt, hyping them up, letting the crowd know that he was there. So he did his job in that aspect. The layers where you really need to start breaking it down is like the course setup at some level. Like, I don't know who makes that decision. And I know that it ultimately falls down on Keegan Bradley, but clearly they have this like massive analytic team. And I think there's like a whole entire system that they abide by. And there's like a company that they kind of trust for the United States Ryder Cup team, that they will dive deep into the analytics. And that's what happens with the course setup. Clearly they wanted a birdie fest out there today. And all week, right? And Bethpage Black is notoriously not that easy of a golf course. It is a grinded out, big ballpark, grab your nuts. The biggest hitters that can hit it straight are going to have the best chance. I think that if you look back, and I was talking to a lot of guys today at the golf course, like if you look back at Whistling Straits, there was a lot of long irons being hit. It was perfectly built for us. There was a lot of these like big ballpark holes where like the U.S. was able to kind of take control and just like bomb them to death, right? You had Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, you had Scotty Scheffler, guys that were just really getting it done from long distances. Now you fast forward, you see what happened in Rome. They analyticed us to death. Does that make us go on our heels and be like, we need to do the same thing, overthink things a little bit? Now all of a sudden we're turning Bethpage Black, which is a US Open venue, into like the 3M, where there's like, I mean, what were the stats on some of these birdies? I mean, I think what was the one that Justin Ray tweeted that the McIlroy and Fleetwood group made 34. Oh, sorry. Scotty Scheffler's opponents this week carded 34 birdies out of the 65 holes he had played leading into singles. Like every single hole, half the holes that he played against, someone was making a birdie against him. You literally can't beat that. Like at some point, like if you're going to make it into a birdie fest, it's really hard to like pull away. And I think from what I had seen, clearly the strategy was, let's turn this into a birdie fest, cut all the rough down, all the fescue, everything, make sure that our guys can hit the green in 2 and get on in regulation. And we have the better putters if you go by the stats. If you break it down, we do have the most strokes gained. If you take all this analytics, we were supposed to beat them in putting. But the problem is you take away all the other stuff that we possibly could have been better than them in, and it just turns into a putting contest. And they simply made more putts than we did. It almost turns into like a flip of a coin for me, right? Like you're taking away a lot of the stuff that we're really good at, wedge play and long iron play and all these things. Colin Morikawa was an amazing ball striker. Like, dude, it was just like driver and just like get it on the green and you have to make a 15-footer. It sucked and we weren't good at it. So I don't know where we lost like our footing kind of in terms of course setup and strategy. I just feel like we got a little bit too much into like the weeds in terms of the analytics, and we just didn't let the guys just be the guys that we have. And we really looked into the numbers a little bit too much. That's just my take. I hated that it turned into just a birdie fest at Bethpage.
Yeah, Keegan was talking about this in the press conference a few minutes ago where he was asked directly about what he would change in course setup. And he said, if I could do it over again, I would set the course up differently. He said, that's hand up. That's the biggest thing that I messed up. He said he would not have cut the rough down the way that he cut the rough down. He said that they did not anticipate the course to play as soft as it played. He's like, especially with it not getting rain. Now, I know they got rain Thursday, but he's right. Like how many major championships have we watched where there's rain earlier in the week and maybe it's a little bit softer in the first round, but by Saturday, Sunday, the course is like burned out and shots are hitting the fairways, hitting the greens and bouncing and bounding all over the place. And it wasn't doing that, dude. Even drives that we watched land in the fairway, they were like making ball marks and stopping. All the shots into the green, none of them like took a bounce and then went, wherever. It was like they all hit, stopped. A lot of them spun back. And I think that is not the way that he intended it. And I think that, he couldn't handle the pressure better, being like, hand up when you lose. It's the coach, it's the captain. This is all on me. A lot of the players were eventually backing him up, going, yep, it's definitely Keegan's fault that we didn't make putts 100%. They were like being like, it's obviously like it's on us that we're not the ones making the putts. Keegan did everything right. That's that from yesterday's match alone. When Bryson and Scotty played together, they were 9 under and lost 3 and 2 to a team that was 11 under through
16 holes.
I think it was. Yeah. So that when you're going up against that is just devastating. The biggest thing from a captain standpoint, captain's choices type standpoint that people are harping on is the pairing of Harris English and Colin Morikawa. The data golf thing went pretty viral of they do this whole deal on the optimal pairings of all the different, there's 132 different type or possible pairings that you could make. This was ranked 132nd out of 132 from the data golf standpoint. I read their little, they submitted since it was getting so much attention, they submitted a little blurb about it. And they were like, look, yes, this is true. But they're like, also the reason they're 132nd is because we just have them as the 2 worst golfers for the golf course. So they're like, so if you put them together, that's why they rank 132nd out of 132nd. They go out there and lose on Friday morning. And then Keegan got a little bit of shit for running them back on Saturday morning. They ended up going up against probably what's going to go down as like the hardest team to play against in the history of the Ryder Cup, which is Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood in alternate shot. Those guys are like 100-0 over the last few years in the Ryder Cup. So they lost again. There's some bickering about when Russell Henley and Scotty Scheffler played together in alternate shot the first day. They had Russell Henley hitting off the first tee, which means he hit off of 5, off of 7, and he's significantly shorter than Scotty Scheffler. So you want your longer driver of the golf ball on those holes in particular. So there was a lot of that type of data of second guessing when it comes to Keegan. Frankie, you made a great point earlier too about, the singles, the fact that we dominated singles and got absolutely boat raced Friday, Saturday is almost more infuriating because it is more validation of the fact that we do have better golfers than they have. When our golfers play against their golfers and they play their individual golf ball, we defeat them. That's just what's happened historically. And so it actually gives more validation to the fact that they just have figured out how to play as a team so much better than we have, because our golfers are better. We go in as higher ranked every single year. When we play singles and there's no teammate bullshit, we win almost every time. And we lost 1 match out of 12 today. And then when we put ourselves as teammates, it's like our guys forget how to play golf, and these fucking guys are shooting 11 under through 16 holes. So that part of it is something we just have not figured out yet. Everybody walking around Friday and Saturday every person I talked to was like, you can just feel that we're not the team that they are, that our guys feel like they're not quite gelling, magic, all of it. And those guys have the magic. And I don't know what you do. And a big debate we had last night at dinner was, okay, Monday morning, they announce you the US Ryder Cup captain in 2 years. Like, what do you do that is different over these 2 years that makes us not get our absolute dicks kicked in when it comes to team golf? And I just don't really know what that answer is.
This is not my real answer, but the hugs we make jokes about the hugs and how they embrace each other and how they operate out there on the golf course. And there has to be something to that. I thought it was interesting when Lowry and Rory were playing together on Saturday, and it was a battle out there. By all accounts and by their accounts, it was just a battle. And it was just like they were going through it. It was an up and down match. And you see pictures, on 18 after they won, and Shane is like cradling Rory. Rory, who is is probably the most decorated golfer of this generation, is an absolute phenom, has been that way since he was 8 years old, has everything, has won everything, wins national opens, wins majors, wins Ryder Cups, has been in the biggest moments. But then when he's out there with his guy Shane, who is essentially his bodyguard, he leans on him, and you can kind of like, there's no ego really. It's just Rory's like, we got to get through this together somehow. Some way, the two of us have to fight on this golf course against this raucous crowd, and they go out and they win a point. And there's really, again, the hug thing is a joke that we've been making for a few weeks now, but there is just a serious amount of camaraderie there that doesn't seem to exist on the American side. And to answer your question about if, excuse me, if they name me the captain tomorrow, I don't know how many dinners can you have? How many movie nights can you have?
Right.
How many buckets of popcorn can you share that are going to get you to the level of camaraderie that Team Europe has? I just don't think that exists. And now that seems pretty doom and gloom. Like, are we just never going to win a Ryder Cup against this current generation of Europeans? That's a scary thought, because a lot of these guys are going to be back. They'll be a little bit older, but they'll still be around. And I just think they'll be able to pass off whatever secret sauce they have to the next generation of Europeans. So my answer to your question is I don't have one, because it seems like it's something they've been building since they were 4 years old.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult. I don't know what the secret sauce is. I think clearly we keep looking for the right captaincy. We keep looking for the right juice and the right system. And it's like you keep plugging in new guys. And what they have over in Europe is they have like a lot of consistency.
Yeah.
And they have like these older guys that have all played in Ryder Cups that are able to talk kind of like down to the team and be like, this is how you do it, because we've done it a ton and it works.
Dude,
and
a
this
bunch
is
of their
blueprint.
vice captains were former captains, like
they're all former captains. And like, I'm
right.
sending a picture right now to our group. Hopefully Ryan Richardson can like zoom in on this on his computer or something. But like, I mean, Francesco Molinari couldn't have been more relaxed out there today. You have to see this photo of him. I forgot to tweet it out because so much was going on. The way he was sitting watching Bryson chip on 11 is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
He looks like a spectator.
Dude, he literally couldn't, or I never know how to say, is it could care less or couldn't care less? He couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less.
Their caring has gone to the absolute lowest part
the
you
least
could possibly
amount,
humanly
the lowest you could go.
He was out
It's
there just
impossible
catching
to
a
care.
breeze. You got to put this in on the video, or maybe just put it in post. Bryson's about to hit. At that point, he was 3 down. I mean, we'll talk about how Bryson fought back. An amazing, emotional, just like leader of this team is what they were calling him, to fight back from 5 down to all square. But like, Bryson's about to hit one of the biggest shots of the day, and everyone's kind of feeling this like, all right, there's a lot of red on the board, and Keegan standing right next to Molinari in that photo. He's just outside the frame of that photo that I took. And Keegan is rattled, like he's wired is the word. He's not rattled. He's wired, going with the crowd. And then there's that juxtaposition of Europe where they're like, we've been here, man. Like, go hit your freaking chip. Our guy's already in the middle of the green. Look at that guy. He doesn't give a fuck, man.
Where are we? What are we doing again?
Dude, I couldn't believe it.
They've also got this mad scientist type figure, his brother, Eduardo Molinari, who we had on the podcast after Rome, who just seems, they talk about him in a way where it's almost that he sees the future.
All right, but
way they
there's
talk about
there's a
him.
point to this, and I actually ran into Sully from No Laying Up at the same time that we ran into Ken Griffey Jr. today. Ken Griffey Jr. was out there, the kid. Saw
Photographer?
him, met him, photographer.
Famous
Met-
photographer.
Met Ken
Taking
Griffey
photos.
Jr. today, shook his hand. Awesome
You met
stuff.
Ken Griffey Jr.
The
today?
kid, yep.
That's sick.
Had a backwards hat and everything. It was awesome.
Did you take a picture with him?
No, it's like, I don't know. I was like I don't know. You know,
I gotcha.
It was
You
like
guys are
media
co-media
scrum.
members.
Just one of those
Mm.
things. I know I should have done it. He
That
was
would have been a banger, though. Two media members.
I
Selfie.
know. But he's
It's
just out
okay.
there like
At least
it's
you got
like
to
his
meet
new
him. He's a
hobby.
legend.
But anyway,
Golf
like he was
media.
talking Reds baseball with somebody. Actually, it was Sully. He was talking Reds baseball with, and I was like, "What were you guys talking about?" And he's a huge Reds guy, obviously. And the Reds just made the playoffs over the Mets, who are just an absolute disgrace of a baseball team. 21 games over 500, the Mets were, and they've now lost. They did not make the playoffs with Juan Soto going over to their Citi Field. But anyway, Sully was telling me at one point that and it was actually a great point that he made, where he was saying that the European team, I know that he dives deep into all this stuff. So like he's wired
This guy
into
should
all
have
like
a
the analytics
podcast.
and shit. They love that shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was saying that to him, one of the more glaring things that pop out is the fact that the guys on the European side, that's like their full-time jobs, is worrying about Ryder Cups. Like that guy, Eduardo Molinari, lives and breathes Ryder Cup like format and analytics and course setup. It's like all that guy does. Right. And like they've got a bunch of guys like that behind the scenes that I don't know about and I'm not aware about. But like if you're in the know, like you just know that Europe has this like Ryder Cup team that is non-stop. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it constantly. They're talking to the team constantly. And like with the US, like we literally had a year debate almost about if Keegan Bradley was going to play or if he was going to captain or if he was going to do both. Like it's not a full-time job. Right. And like I love Kiz and I love Gary Woodland and I love like Brent Snedeker. It's like I'm starting to rattle off a bunch of guys that are like playing on the PGA Tour and they're playing on the Champions Tour and they're like what are they actually? Do they even know more than other people do? And now here's the real kicker question, because I even asked this to Sully, he didn't know the answer. I'm like, who's the right pick then for us? Like, who is our Eduardo Molinari? Who is our Francesco Molinari? Who's the guys that are gonna be able to talk to these guys and be like, hey, we've won like 4 or 5 of these things, and like we captained. You know, at this point, Luke Donald has won 4 Ryder Cups and has captained 2 wins. Like he could tell these guys anything. They're going to listen to him and be like, of course, Luke, like you're the guy, you know how to do this. He can tell Rory, sit down. This is what you're going to do. This is who you're going to be paired up with. And this is what hole you're going to hit on. Meanwhile, the US is like, Keegs, like, what's up, brother? Like, going to see you, you know, we're going to go to the Grove tomorrow. It's like he's one of their peers. There's a total difference. That's a major cultural disconnect. I don't even know if the word cultural is the right word, but like, in
Team
America,
culture,
like we
team culture.
Yeah.
team
right.
culture disconnect where it's like they have guys that are like here and the players are below them and they kind of just like fall in line. And then we have just kind of a lot of mumble jumbled, great players, amazing personalities. They can really get fired up. I don't want to act like that's the only reason we lost, but like there's got to be something to the fact that we aren't good in the team aspect. And it has to be that they have a system that they just abide by and it works. And we are always like overthinking things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And it does seem like there's vice captains on their squad that are like tailored towards the players who are involved, like Olthable and Rom. Like that's like a protege type of relationship where if Rom needs something, like you see Olthable on his shoulder, like, all right, here's what we're going to do. And Edward Molinari is clearly like the stats guru. You are right. It seems like they have far more defined roles in what the vice captaincy is. And the Americans are more just, it's a lot of the same, which is kind of you're saying that we want, but I don't know what the specific roles are. And if you want to change all that, you're kind of blowing the whole thing up, but you might have to at this point because these 2 losses are so devastating for Team USA Golf. The vice captaincy thing I think is an important point because I think very defined roles is something that they should have going forward. Not saying they don't, but
College football season is back. There was a great slate of games this past weekend, which means tailgates, cheering crowds, and the excitement of being in the stands before kickoff. It's all back as well, and Game Time is going to give the advantage back to the fans. That's what they're all about. Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. I love whatever city you're in. Just scroll through that Game Time app with your location on there, and it'll just show you over the next however long you want, couple weeks, something interesting that's coming to town. It could be a college football game, depending on where you live. It could be a concert. It could be a comedian. Game time's just phenomenal.
It's also baseball playoff season. Those are about to kick off. And if your team is in it, and if you live by a baseball team that's going to be in the playoffs, go to one of those games, because there is nothing like playoff baseball, and that is start to kick off in full gear. Go on Game Time, find a ticket as the event approaches. Ticket prices go down. But yeah, go to a show, go to a concert, go to a baseball game, go to a college football game. Just go to something.
At 161st Street in the Bronx, you got the Red Sox at the New York Yankees. We're back. Like this is something that baseball needed. New York baseball needed it. Red Sox, Yankees in the wild card at Yankee Stadium. You got that on Game Time. I'm looking right now, $105 to get into that game. That's an absolute steal. That's going to be an incredible, incredible series. Can't wait. I mean, yeah, you look at Cowboys at Jets. Anywhere you're at right now in the country, there's events, there's football, there's baseball, there's hockey that's about to start. All of it. Concerts are still ripping. Nate Bargatze was at MSG the last 2 nights. Incredible.
Take the guesswork, folks. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets or any tickets with Game Time. Make sure you download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Adidas is the official golf apparel and golf footwear partner of Foreplay. Big announcement from us, of course, relatively recently, rocking this 3 stripes all over the place. Different look for us, which I love. So many different options. Adidas connects performance with style, making the game more accessible, inspiring to the next generation of players on and off the course. And again, I've been blown away. They have so many different types of shoes. Like, I'm here in North Carolina for about 3 weeks. I always like to spend as much time in October here as I can. I got buddies coming, and it's like trying to decide which shoes to bring. I brought a pair of the Addy Zeros, and I brought a pair of the Tour 360s. And then I've got some great fall lineup gear right now. Frankie's rocking a really nice crew neck right now, but when these leaves start changing over these next couple weeks here, I got some brown pants, I got some hoodies, I got a vest. I just got a bunch of cool stuff that I'm really fired up to rock.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I just got done shopping the website, and I got a bunch of my family and friends, all Adidas stuff. And like, just even them sending me, I'm like, hey, let me know what you guys kind of want. Go through the website, send me back a couple items, and just how excited they all were because of how big of a brand and how just clean a lot of the stuff is, whether it be the shorts or the track pants or the shoes or just a nice gray hoodie with the Adidas logo or like the original logo, the Trefoil logo, like all of it. To me, like seeing the reaction from people in my life as to how hyped up and like and amazed they are that we have an Adidas sponsorship and partnership, it's been the best. So I love like spreading the wealth around here and like watching everyone kind of rocking the Adidas. Like, we have them all in boxes right now. We're about to bring them to their houses tomorrow. I can't wait to see their faces because there's there's so many cool items. Like, my dad got these unreal shoes that I cannot believe he's gonna rock, and he's like, I can't wait for these things. These are unbelievable shoes. So yeah, Adidas has been great. This has been such a great start.
I've been spending a ton of time on their website too. It's incredibly fun. They got so much stuff. So Adidas, again, the official golf apparel and footwear partner of Foreplay. They had 7 different athletes in the Ryder Cup that were rocking their shoes. You know, Colin Morikawa, Ludwig, a bunch of great players are big Adidas golf athletes, and so are we. So whether you're chasing birdies or at the 19th hole, Adidas gear is made to perform while keeping you comfortable and confident wherever you play. Get yours at adidas.com/golf. That is adidas.com/golf.
And just to make my final point, like before Riggs goes, like my final point basically is like, I think all of that turns into a Ryder Cup ending and our captain raising his hand being like, we got the course set up wrong. Like that, like all of everything I just said, where it's like, it's each Ryder Cup, it's a new system, it's a new crew. They're kind of like scrambling to see what is this one going to be. It's like they don't have that blueprint to go off of. Like Whistling Straits, they went away from that for this, right? So like, and I know it's totally different players, but like we tried something new and it didn't work. And now like we're at press conferences being like, we tried something, and like if I could go back, I would change it. It's like, I just think the Europeans like never are put in the position being like, hey guys, we tried something new, it didn't work. Like they're always like, this is how we do it, and if we win, we win. And they usually do win.
Well, yeah, it is. They have a systematic consistency that we clearly don't have. And I think that we honestly alluded to it. And when I had Shane Ryan on, we talked about this a lot of this is, I think, the third time I can remember since we started doing this podcast, basically, where it feels like the US has tried something completely different as like the new direction forward.
Right.
And it was like in 2014, it was a little bit before, but like 2014, I think it was when Tom Watson was the captain, and he was like 25 years removed from being the relevant guy. And they were like, we're going to bring in Tom fucking Watson. He's like this quiet or badass that everyone's going to respect. And we got our dicks kicked into the point where in the press conference afterwards, Phil Mickelson was up there being like, Tom Watson sucks. And I can't believe he didn't play me. And then like a week later, they announced a task force. So they went Tom Watson. They go other direction. They go fucking task force, right? Which everybody's kind of making fun of. They get the win on home soil and everybody's like, bang, we're good. And then in 2018, we get dominated in Paris. And it's like we blow up the team of Patrick Reed and Jordan Spieth. And they're calling into the New York Times and Justine Reed, and is battling over Jim Furyk and the whole deal. It's crazy. And then we have another example here where like everything was actually kind of on a pretty good trajectory. 2016 was a great win at home. 2018 we lost, but sure, we lost on the road. 2021, 4 years ago, we won 19-9 two Ryder Cups. So it's not like we haven't had a plan. And it was like Steve Stricker had been ushered in as the guy. And if you look at the DNA of Steve Stricker, he has a Luke Donald, Paul McGinley type career buildup where like when you made Steve Stricker the captain in Wisconsin, that became the biggest thing that Steve Stricker has ever taken on or considered in his life by a fucking mile. And he was like, this is it now. This is my life. I'm going to be all I want in the world. And I'm not saying Keegan Bradley wasn't going all in. Keegan Bradley up until a month ago was trying to win the FedEx Cup. So it's like, that's just not it. There is this little bit of disconnect where, you know, I was just looking up Paul McGinley. Paul McGinley's role, it says, is he's the 2025 Ryder Cup strategic advisor to Team Europe. Like, what the fuck is that? They have guys that his job, he's on everywhere on Golf Channel, all that, solely because of his relationship to the Ryder Cup, which is like perpetual and nonstop. And when he's up there on the coverage, it was like I was watching if Jim Nantz was like a huge Cowboys fan and was calling the football game. It was like saying we during the entire coverage, and it's Paul McGinley. I don't blame him. I'd be doing the same thing. But the point is they have all of these characters, you're right, where it's like Jose Maria Olazabal, and they had Thomas Bjorns out there, and they've got Paul McGinley. All these former captains of the team that have been through it are there almost as like these like guardian type figures, these like angels for Luke Donald. And we don't have any, like Keegan Bradley said multiple times. He's like, I really had to learn on the fly out there. And that's like, we got this fucking guy learning on the fly. Whereas it feels like the Ryder Cup captain for Europe is always surrounded by Ryder Cup angels that are like softly putting him where he needs to be and softly putting him in the proper spot. And he's comfortable and he's got the information and they're whispering in his ear, but only when they need to be whispering in his ear. And it all does work. And then to be honest, on the complete other side of it, part of me is like, okay, they're just fucking rolling out Rory, Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton. It's not fucking rocket science. They're just like, yeah, we'd love to roll out Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood too if we could. I could be captain and go, yep, I'm going to put out Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. And they'd be like, holy shit, you're the best Ryder Cup captain in history. It's like, now they have found all these pairings. And I think as they get deeper into it, you know, you are right in that consistency that they've built also like manifests itself into those pairings where it's like, we know no matter what strategy we do, science we do, we know every 2 years that like on that first tee at the Ryder Cup, it's going to be John fucking Rahm is going to stand on that first tee. He's going to have Tyrrell Hatton as his partner. He's going to hit a baby fucking cut 310 yards down the middle. He's going to be surrounded by 5 former captain Ryder Cup angels. And then right after John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton's going to hit the approach shot. And then 5 minutes later, they're going to announce Rory McIlroy on the tee. And like, you know that he's going to play with Tommy Fleetwood. All of that consistency is, you're right, throughout the entire operation, from the strategic advisors to the captains, all the way down to the pairings of like, they have sort of figured out how to make everything comfortable for their players in an environment that like, it doesn't take much to get uncomfortable. We saw that today in singles, to be honest with you. Like, there's no excuse for Europe to have only won one match today, but momentum, the uncomfortability out there, the other team getting super fired up and all that, that can happen so fast. And that is the difference between your putt sort of curling in and their putts like curling out, is like that comfortability out there. And it feels like they're so comfortable and friendly with each other and relaxed. And you got fucking Frank Molinari laying there on the ground while Bryson's shipping like he's catching a breeze. It's just like they're so relaxed the whole time and confident because it's so comfortable and consistent. And we just don't have that. It's like a panicked 2-year rush, new look every time. And we just are kind of hoping this is the answer.
Right, because even on the team of Team Europe, there's a hierarchy, right? It's Tommy, it's Rory, it's Rahm, and it's Lowry. Those are like the head statesmen, and then there's a bunch of Abers and Obers and Fitzpatrick and all those guys under them. Look at Team USA. Like, I don't know what the relationship between any of these guys are. What's the relationship between Justin Thomas and Bryson? No idea. What's the relationship between Justin Thomas and Scotty? No idea. You could bring Bryson in every single one of these examples and say, I have no idea. It really is. It's just a chaotic group that I don't know. Like, do they like each other? Do they not? Do they just like put up with each other? And there's no real, even within the team of the players who are on and swinging a golf club, I don't know who is sort of in the locker room being like, hey guys, I've been here before. Everybody just relax. This is how we're going to attack this day in this pairing. And so, yeah. Team Europe just has consistency. I think that's the word that we're all aiming for and hammering here. They just have a lot of consistency on their side, and it fucking works.
Yeah, it's just a shame. It's a real shame that Bethpage wasn't able to be Bethpage, and I think it's going to leave a sour taste in people's mouths. I think what you see in 2033 when they come back for the PGA Championship, what you saw in 2019, it's just laughable how different of a golf course it is, and that's the thing that's always going to be in the back of my mind for the 2025 Ryder Cup. I just am so disappointed that that's the route they went, because I'm trotting out this same team again if you give me this chance. I just don't think that if you put that golf course the way it's supposed to be set, I do not think it's so one-sided going into Sunday. Like, I really think it evens
in 2019
it out.
There were only 6 players under par. There were only 2 players better than 2 under par at Bethpage Black. That's like the kind of course it's supposed to be.
With a lot of the guys that were on the U.S. team, like, they're big ballpark players. They're like, they did all well in majors. We have the reigning U.S. Open champion, and we've got like Scotty Scheffler, who plays great in those golf courses, and we've got great long ball hitters and iron strikers, and like, we just took a lot of that and we just like diminished every single advantage we could have possibly had before the green. And once it got to the green, sure, in a perfect world, if you looked at the analytics and the statistics, which I'm sure they did, they probably all sat in a room and they said, hey guys, this is simple. If we looked at a piece of paper and the paper told us we have an advantage on the green, why don't we just eliminate every other part of the game and just get to the green and we have an advantage? Like, it's as simple of a strategy as you can think of. Like, we'll just beat them on the green because we are better. We have more strokes gained putting. We've got guys that have every single guy. We have 6 out of the top 12 putters in the world when you look at all the statistics, whatever the number is. They looked at it and they're like, we think that we will win that. We make more birdies than they do. And for me, it's just like, God, you're missing a lot of the other stuff where it's like, how do you get to those birdies? And our guys are the best at getting to those birdies from like the hardest spots on the golf course. They're long hitters. They're good iron players. It's like, let them fucking be the players they are. Don't just skip over a lot of the hard part. Make this really difficult. Like, that's the home field advantage, man. Like, that's why you picked Bethpage. You know, did you just pick Bethpage just because of like what you thought the crowd was going to be? Or did you pick Bethpage because if you missed the fairway on one, you've got rough that's 7.5 inches thick and it pulls your club over into the left bunker, just like it does for frickin' Don Rowan when he plays with his Monday League. You know what I mean? Like, when you missed the fairway on 15, I watched freaking Tommy Fleetwood. I was standing right next to him on 15. He missed the fairway on 15. He was in the rough and he just like bombed a fucking like 7-iron or whatever the hell it was to the back of the green. I looked at him. I'm like, what the hell just happened? You should have been hacking a wedge out of here. Like, that is not realistic. When you miss a fairway at Bethpage, you're done. And here it was like a godsend. It was teed up. You were able to fly this thing, and because of how soft the greens were, they weren't spinning as much. You were able to just go right at the stick. It was a disaster setup. Disaster. It turned it into a goddamn birdie fest, which is a freaking flip of the coin. And you got your birdies, man. You got your birdies. There were birdies everywhere, man. It was nuts. Like you said, Scotty and Bryson. I said I wasn't proud of Scotty, and then on Saturday, and then I got on the bus to go home, and I saw that tweet that they went 9 under through 16 holes and lost 3 and 2. Like, at some point, you got to go up to Scotty and be like, I don't know what else you were supposed to do. Like, I mean, you guys both played
How
great.
about this stat from Justin Ray through the first 2 days of golf? If you totaled up feet of putts, counting the longest putt made on a hole for a team in 4-ball when both players hold out, Europe has made 230 more feet, 230 feet more of putts through 4 sessions on Friday and Saturday, which comes out to about 14 to 15 more feet per match of putts made. So over 4 sessions.
That makes sense, because I had also heard
230 feet more putts than we did.
Yeah.
I heard a great stat from an unnamed vice captain that I saw today on the golf course that rhymes with Misner. But he was saying, like, we're actually hitting it closer to the pin than they are. We are, like, the course strategy is working. We're getting on the green better than they are. And they're just making putts from the parking lot. So, like, that was kind of the other side of it, where it's like the narrative of this course setup thing is kind of wrong. Like, we are doing everything we wanted to do. We're getting on the green more than they are, and we're hitting it closer to the pin than they are. They're making putts from the parking lot. They're making putts from freaking Melville. It's like, at some point, you got to tip your cap. And I say this all the time with hockey players that I'll meet, or baseball players or whatever. I met Ken Griffey Jr. today, and it's like, dude, at what point are you the best in the world at your sport? And then someone has to win and someone has to lose. I always remember I was out to dinner one night with the Islanders, the first time I ever met like professional hockey players in that setting. And I was still this like very, very naive kid. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you got to, like, how'd you guys lose that game last night? Right. And they're like, there's a guy in the other team, and he goes in between those posts. He gets paid $9 million a year. He's one of the highest paid players in the league, to stop every single shot we make. There's defensemen that are all on all-star teams. Their job is to stop us from winning that game. And only one team out of all the teams playing are going to win. It's like one team's going to lose, one team's going to win. At some point, you got to tip your cap to the goddamn Europeans and say, you beat us. Because that's what they did. They just simply beat us.
Yeah, the Americans weren't out there making bogeys. Like, I think as the numbers come out, I think it's going to be more and more, this performance that Team Europe put on is like out of this world. And that putt thing is just a peek into that, where
it's astronomical. It's numbers you can't even fathom. Like, when you're doing your analytics, when DraftKings is coming up with a minus 150 line, they're not anticipating 230 extra feet of putts being made in the first 4 sessions. They're like, that's such an anomaly of a stat. Like, we've analyzed every single round of golf in the history of the world, right? That's what they do when they're doing all these lines. And they're like, our model is telling us that those putts don't typically go in. And if they don't, the strategy and the course setup and the players, USA will win this. And all of a sudden, it wasn't happening. And it's because these guys are making putts. We're just saying rational things here. Like, this is what a rational thinker should be thinking about from this Ryder Cup. Like, we lost. It's a disaster that we lost. But, like, the other team simply played better. And I don't know, like, how we're supposed to sit here and be like, the pairings were wrong, or this was wrong. Like, at some point, we just fucking lost.
Yeah,
you know?
We did.
Absolutely. And so I feel so horrible for Keegan Bradley. I just felt sad for him. Yesterday was like the most empathetic I think I could feel towards someone else when they would show Keegan Bradley, because you could just see on his face that, like, the mark on a legacy and how negative that was showing on his face. And luckily today, I think, really, really changed that narrative with everything that we're saying, with Europe just playing better, with them making hundreds of feet more of putts, with them responding to every big thing we did with another W, a win, with them winning all 4 sessions, with it just being blue after blue after blue. Every time you wanted there to be red on that fucking leaderboard, we still lost 15-13 with a goddamn envelope rule. And so, like, with all of that said, which we're going to get into, with all of that said, it's like we still were right there. And is, you know, it's almost like you don't even need to really analyze Sunday that much, because you just roll out 12 players, they play individual. It's not about the vibes and the chemistry. You're just playing a golf match, which these guys know how to do. So you really do like have to dive into what the hell happened Friday and Saturday. And this is one of the Patrick Cantlay lines from a few years ago where he's like, it's an unbelievably small sample size. And if you tune into a golf tournament and you saw like Scotty Scheffler just didn't really make any putts Friday or Saturday in a golf tournament, Scotty Scheffler still usually wins that golf tournament. He like starts making putts on Sunday, or he made putts on Thursday, and he still like wins that golf tournament. It's just those couple days we didn't have a couple putts go in. They did have putts go in. Now you extrapolate that out and you could kind of like, we're getting enough of a sample size. Like we've lost 11 of the last 15 Ryder Cups. We've lost 2 of the last 4 Ryder Cups on home soil. We have not won in Europe since like before we were born, as an away Ryder Cup. And so you got to really kind of, when you do zoom out, I do think that I think that we all kind of do believe that with everything we're talking about, with the consistency, with the Ryder Cup angels that they have surrounding their captains, with the good captaincy, with the Molinari family and their goddamn data and all of that, I think all of that, I saw Luke Donald was talking about how they brought stuff in because there were cracks in the bottom of all their hotel room doors. So they made sure that no light was coming into their hotel rooms. All the shit that they're doing that we agree they do better than we do, I also think we all agree contributes a little bit to them making a couple more putts or hitting shots a little bit closer over a couple rounds. Like I think that all of that factors in a little bit to that comfortability, that confidence level, that camaraderie of being there, not feeling tense and on edge with your buddy, but feeling at home and supported by your buddy and your team. And all of that, if that leads to a couple more putts being made the entire day on Friday, that flips the goddamn leaderboard from us like being tied or 2-2 to us losing 3-1 2 sessions. Now all of a sudden you're down 6-2. And so I do think we all agree that matters. I think it's really tough to look at 1-2 day stretch basically and be like, that all happened because of this. So it's weird to kind of have both theories going on, but you're also forced to think about it because this really is the coolest event in the world. Like being there on the first tee Friday, man, and my parents were there for the first time. My dad was saying my dad's been to the World Cup final he was at in Germany. He's been to World Series games with the Cardinals. He was like, I've never been to something that was cooler and had more energy than like the first tee at the Ryder Cup on Friday. And even I thought that wasn't as good as some of the ones that I had seen in like Europe, but it's still so fucking awesome. And the chance and the anticipation and that like 7 a.m. moment when the sun rises and like the sun is literally reflecting all of 2 years of hype as it's so dark out and you can kind of anticipate it. And then it happens and it starts to be able to see the first hole. You start to be able to see the first tee. You see Captain Keegan and Luke Donald for the first time. And then the sun's draping across the shadows. And next thing you know, it's light out and like there the players emerge. And it's just watching all that unfold is so insanely awesome. Watching the bickering back and forth with the players, seeing Bryson try to get the crowd hyped up and everybody hyped up. All of that is so like confirming that the Ryder Cup is the coolest thing that we got. And when we have one thing, our team, it's not like we're watching our hockey team and they get 41 home games a year. It's like we get the Ryder Cup at home every 4 years. We only get a Ryder Cup every 2 years. And when we overall in our lifetime have gotten fucking killed in it, it's just devastating. And it's like you want it to be this thing that we cherish, that we so look forward to because we do, but you want to be able to relate it to like all of these awesome moments. You want to be able to dunk on like the fucking European fans on Twitter and stuff. And instead, dude, walking around on like Friday evening at Bethpage, like I was like hanging our heads in shame wearing red, white, and blue because the Euros were just singing all around us. They were like singing and making fun of us and nobody knew what to say. And last night they're like chanting at Scotty while he's on the driving range. They're like chirp chanting Scotty Scheffler on the driving range at 8 p.m. at Bethpage Black in our backyard. And you're just like, fuck. So yeah, it sucks that we're not as good at this thing as they are. And I just want us to be better at it. You know what I mean? It's like
Ryan Richardson, pull up that Rory clip that I just sent you. Cause it's kind of what you're talking about where it's just like they came into our house and they were chirping with people. Rory definitely was. And this was, I think, he hit that shot to 3 feet to close the match. Go ahead and play this.
With all that in mind, everything you go through, how satisfying is it to turn around to someone and say, quote, "Shut the F up," and then stiff it to 2 feet.
Very fucking satisfying.
Congratulations.
You know, they get to just do that, and they're on foreign soil, and they just, like, to the victor go the spoils, and to the victor go all the shit talking that they want to do, and all the champagne that they want, and all the grave dancing they want. It's just, I want to do that as an American. I want to be on that side of it where we can just talk a ton of shit. And we did after Whistling Straits. Whistling Straits, we were there. One of the great sporting events I've ever been to. The whole weekend, you're mopping the floor with these guys, and you're like, this is the center of the golf universe, America. You guys all live here, and this is why. Like, this is the greatest place to be. It's where golf should be. And then when you're on the other side of it, they just get to say whatever they want, and it hurts. It hurts real bad.
Yeah, in terms of the fans, it was a little too late. Obviously, we said that off the top, that you needed some more juice from the golfers to get things going. But man, when JT made that putt on 18, I had such a cool view of. I was like basically right in front of the fairway, right in front of the greenside bunker, looking up. I had the whole entire grandstand in the back, and he makes that putt, and that fist bump and watching everyone just erupt. That was 3 days. That was, call it 4 years worth of pent up, just like, we want to see this all kind of releasing in one. That was an amazing, amazing pop. And then obviously Henley leaving that putt short in 17. He would have brought the house down if he closed out Lowry on 17. Leaving that putt short was a disaster, but his bunker shot hitting into the back left corner, like, dude, I was in that bunker with him. A lot of the media members, they all ran up to the green. I couldn't believe no one wanted to stay next to that fairway bunker. Like, he was really deciding on what kind of shot to hit, and no one knew if he could get it over that lip. If I was in that scenario, I don't even think I'm attempting to get it over that lip. That's how close he was in real life. And he hits that shot. The way that the sound it made was so pure. The flight that it had, the way that it sat down, and the way that the U.S. team lost their mind in that corner. You had JT, you had Bryson, you had Scotty, you had Xander. Everyone was right there on the edge of that green. He basically hit it right. He hit it to their feet. And the way that they erupted, he looks back at his caddy, goes, "Fuck yeah," and like looks over towards me. I'm like, Russell Henley. Like, holy shit, where'd this guy come from?
Dude, they showed a drone shot of that shot from like behind the green, but really high, so you could see the dude. He hits the grass on top of the bunker there on the lip, and it just drops perfectly. And that, I mean, the Cam Young putt, the JT putt, and then the Henley shot. With all that happening, and everyone starting to realize, like, oh, the path is clear. We just have to win every single one of these last 3 and 4 matches. Having those guys come down and Bryson getting half a point, it was just like things were building, and it was all happening on 18. It was like, holy shit, this is going to be a movie someday. And then fucking Lowry. But
it had been 4 years too since like we had won the 18th hole consistently. Like if you remember in Rome, like 2 years ago, we just lost the 18th hole every match. It was a great Justin Rose is making putts. Viktor Hovalnd's making putts. John Rahm's making the putt. They all kept winning. Friday, Saturday this week, we just kept losing. If we got lucky enough to go to the 18th hole, we just were losing it all the time. And then it was like every fucking time they panned to the 18th hole today on the coverage, it was like Cam Young, bang, Justin Thomas, bang. And they're just making putts to win matches on the 18th hole. And like I was looking at one point, there was only like 8 matches that had finished, and we had won 5 of them 1-up, which is like, it's not like it was, it's like we're winning them 1-up, which is as intense as it gets. Like there's a chance, everybody knows there's a chance when you sit on the 18th hole all day at the Ryder Cup, you might not see a single golf shot. Now, obviously singles is more likely than the other, but like we had hospitality on the 17th hole all day on Saturday. And in the first group, one group made it to 17, and we saw like Viktor Hovalnd fist pump right in our face when he made like a 12-footer. That was like the only thing we saw the whole day. And then in the afternoon, like 2 groups made it to 17. That was it. So the fact that people were sitting there on 18 got to see all those moments. And then when Russell Henley hit that shot, it was like, holy shit, he's going to somehow win this match too. And obviously Shane Lowry makes the putt. You knew he was going to make it once Russell Henley missed it. That's another one you got to tip your cap. Dude, how hard is it to play golf under pressure? How many wedge shots did we see guys hit on 18 that came up well short, spun back all the way to the front? And for Shane Lowry under that pressure, with honestly that feeling of it slipping away, which he knew, they all knew, everybody knew, you could sense it, feel it for him to throw that dart in there inside of Russell Henley and then make that putt, whereas like Shane Lowry, I don't think is like, I'm watching a lot of these events where he's out there with Rory and they play the NOLA event together, and like
Zurich.
I'm watching him, the Zurich. I'm watching him miss putts all the time, and you're thinking like he's got a putt to win the Ryder Cup. There's only like 6 people in history that have had a true putt to like win the Ryder Cup. Where it's like, sure, somebody closes out the Ryder Cup, but usually you're won by 5 points or something. He's got a putt where like there's no actual tie. Like if we either win this thing or you lose this thing. You can't have a putt to go to like a playoff. And there was a point where it's like, dude, if Shane Lowry makes this putt, they win the Ryder Cup right now. If he misses the putt, there's a good chance that they lose the Ryder Cup. Like that's to have that type of putt. And obviously he made it. Good for him. Him going nuts. Him saying afterwards that he told his caddy walking up, like, I have an opportunity right now to do what'll probably be the coolest thing I could ever do in my life. And then to fucking do it and make that putt and go as nuts as he went and then crying afterwards. It sucked. It was against us. But we're also so lucky that we even had that moment. Like the fact that the Ryder Cup wasn't over 2 hours into the Ryder Cup today is such a miracle. And how nervous I was over that putt. Like standing up alone in my house, looking at the TV from 1 foot away from it, like a dad, being like, holy shit, if he misses this putt, we're gonna win the Ryder Cup. And then he makes it, goes crazy, good for him. The amount of tears afterwards is so cool to see. Like Scotty Scheffler holding it together. And then when he brings up the fact that like clearly last night he was in a dark place, clearly him going 0-4, he was in a terrible dark place. And you can tell that the guys had all come over, patted him on the back, talked to him, said things to him, whatever those interactions were that like meant the world to Scotty Scheffler, to the point where it brought him to like almost happy tears of like love and camaraderie that gave me a lot of hope for our team going forward. You saw Cam Young, of all people, dude. Like Cam Young was like fist pumping a little bit throughout the week and stuff, but like he was emotional. I could barely talk about it after he made that putt to win his match. You saw Rory get choked up again afterwards, just talking about like how much it meant for Europe and for the whole team. You obviously saw Shane Lowry, like seeing all these guys get choked up because of how much it means for them. And then thinking about the fact that they're feeling all of that and yet they're able to hit some of the shots that they hit. It was really cool. And the whole scene on 18 today, like I can't even imagine being there, Frankie, because just watching it on TV, dude, was like every time they panned to 18, it was like, holy shit, we got like the end of a major championship. We got that like 6 times today, which is awesome.
And dude, I mean, shout out to the PGA of America, but I had that inside the ropes pass. So I was going from after I had walked with Scotty, JT, Bryson's groups and like saw a lot of the stuff on 11. I had seen a lot of great shots come in. I saw Francesco Molinari taking a nap on that one mound. I also saw something crazy, dude. There was someone I think Matt Fitzpatrick hit a ball. It made a pitch mark. Excess grass clumped up onto the green, like beyond the pitch mark, like it always does, right? Like you'll see like that little, just like the little ball of grass will just be kind of curled up next to where your pitch mark was. They fixed the pitch mark. He walked back down to his ball, putt, finished the hole. The next group comes in. That ball of grass is still there. It was, I tweeted this out. You could see how apparent. You wait until you see, Trent, how visible this chunk of grass was. They left it there for 3 straight matches. And I had all like the media members around me laughing out loud because I'm like, if they don't pick up that grass, and they would like, dude, Ted Scott at one point walked right by it. His foot like nicked it. And we were like, pick it up, like pick that up and throw it off the green. Dude, that was in the same spot that every ball was spinning back to and rolling by. 2 balls rolled right by it. Easily could have hit that and stopped the ball from rolling. Like, why would you leave any advantage? It was the most insane thing I've ever seen in a professional golf tournament. I couldn't believe no one would take that off the green. I'm like, would they leave a tee there? Like, it's going to do the same thing as a tee. Like, would you just leave a tee on the ground? Like, that's going to stop the ball.
Yeah, that's a big clump of grass right there.
Dude,
big clump.
It's outrageous.
I guess when you're really good, but I guess you don't worry about anything that's not next to the hole. But
Bro,
you're saying that's where balls were zipping back to.
It was next to the hole. Like in the next picture, you can kind of see, like in that frame, it's there. It's like just to the left of the hole. Like every ball that was just to the right of the stick was ripping back right by that clump of grass. Whatever. We're not going to get too hung up on it. I just thought that was outrageous. Like in a Ryder Cup when everything's pristine, why are we leaving that on the green? It was nuts. But yeah, so after I had done that, I was basically running up and down 18. I would go to the green, watch JT have the best moment I've ever seen in golf, and then go back to 17. And there was this little, on 17, it's that stadium viewing, but when you're inside the ropes, you've got that walk up to 18, but everyone's sitting down on that walk. So you've got this view in the shade of this like arena par 3, and balls are flying in, crowds going crazy. All the players that had finished are also standing right there. So at one point, Rory and his wife were right there. He has his arm around her, and they're standing right next to me because they're not going all the way down because they want to get back up to 18 to see the next match as well. It was a very, very cool experience, one that I'll remember for the rest of my life. So thank you so much. I don't take that for granted, being inside the ropes and having people scream at me with Borellis and we ate with your dad. And like, I'm walking there with the guys from SNL at one point. Everyone's screaming my name. I'm like, you got freaking like, I don't know. You got like the whole cast of Saturday Night Live right
Colin
here.
Jost.
Colin Jost and all these guys that were out there. It was unbelievable. So really, really cool experience for me to walk a course that I had walked my entire life, learned basically how to play golf there, and then to be in the midst. I felt this way in 2019 as well. We were very lucky to be able to walk alongside Brooks at one point, and Tiger Woods that was there. It was like unbelievable to be inside the ropes for that stuff. So it was a very, very cool. I'm very happy that people got that experience because you spend a lot of money. It's an insanely pricey, stressful day. You're getting shuttled in. It's a whole deal. So to be able to get some sort of, substance out of that, right? Like you got what you wanted. I feel like a lot of people got satisfaction out of that day, that grind of a Sunday that they went through. A lot of people were walking away with smiles on their face. And I mean, you guys would know better than me. You're more historians of the game than I am. That has to be one of the closer Ryder Cups in history. No, I mean, 15-13 is a pretty damn good Ryder Cup.
Yeah, there's been a few that have been there's been 2 ties and there've been a couple that came down to like a 1-point difference. It has been since 2012 that we had anything even close to that close. Yeah. I mean, and the other ones, there's been a few moments where it's like, oh, the Ryder Cup's going to go on for a couple more hours. In this one, it was like we were so far behind that you never truly, not never, you couldn't all day convince yourself that it was actually doable, but you were like, oh, we're getting a little closer. Oh, we're making this thing exciting. Oh, we're going to extend the Ryder Cup for another half hour. Oh, okay, that's another win. And then there actually was a moment where they kept cutting the leaderboard down to just the matches that were remaining on the course. And there was a point, dude, where they cut that leaderboard down to just 4 matches. And the last match was on like 15. And so you're like, wait a second, we're in the next 30 minutes. Like, if they just keep eliminating matches, we're going to win the Ryder Cup. Like, that's just like what's happening.
And at that moment, you had Ben Griffin losing his mind, winning holes, screaming to the crowd. JJ Spawn's fist bumping so hard that the club's falling out of his hand. He's winning. He's winning on like 15 or 16. So like you're hearing when we're on 17 and Russell Henley's reading his putt, you heard like 2 or 3 roars because it all happened at once. Ben Griffin went up 1, I think on like 14 or 15. And Russell Henley fired in that dart right behind the pin. It's like, holy shit, we're going to do it. Lowry hit that slope and he had a long putt. Everything was starting. I kept looking around being like, Adrian. I spent all day with Adrian. We kept bumping into each other. He was wearing the Euro stuff, rooting on Tommy, of course. But like, we both kept looking at each other being like, dude, 4 hours ago, we said this was going to be like a walk in the park. And then every hour we kept running into each other. We're like, I think we're seeing a movie. Like, I think we're in the middle of a future like movie where they're going to cast it incorrectly. And like Mel Gibson's going to be like the captain or something. It's going to just be a bad movie, but they're definitely going to try and make a movie out of this because this is a script that we're seeing right now. I have to get to the worst part of the day, aside from losing, which is Viktor Hovalnd. And I know that we all have our takes on it, and I would hope that they're all the same. Worst thing that's ever happened in professional sports, this envelope rule. At some point, golf needs to have pride in itself to not be such a joke with rules like this. Like if you're going to sit here and like make me always have these arguments with people at bars and whenever I'm like with my buddies, we're always talking about our golfers, athletes. And you're like, of course they are. Like they're like making millions and millions of dollars playing a sport that like requires all this torque and spin and all this hand-eye coordination. They're like the best. They're some of the best athletes in the world. They're hitting balls 350 yards. It's unbelievable. Hand-eye coordination. And then you're going to tell me that if a guy tweaks his neck, that we actually have a system in place that the guy that he was supposed to play doesn't get any benefit out of it. We all just kind of go, nope, it's okay. We're all good sports here. This is basically just a hobby. He just doesn't want to do it today. His neck is strained. So you're not going to go out there, but no one's going to benefit off of this. And we're also going to leave it open to like strategy where like, if you just want to like sure up a couple of half of points, like you can just have guys legitimately say, I don't want to play today. And like, they don't have to. Like, in what scenario do we say I'm hurt? When you're hurt, you lose like every other sport. If
Correct.
a guy like Aaron Rodgers like popped his Achilles, the Jets were the worst team in the NFL. Like you just like you lose when you get hurt. Like it's like
also
being healthy is also supposed to be like being healthy is supposed to be rewarded.
That's a factor. Like that, you have to factor that in. Just like in fantasy football, if you draft a player and they're maybe hurt and they're not going to be able to play as much, that is a liability. You don't get to just be like, look, that whole thing as it started, it was a fun thing that we talked about a week ago where people were like, haha, you put a name in an envelope, but you basically put the name of somebody who's your worst player. Haha, that's like a funny little thing. And then the fact that combined with the retention thing, you retain the cup and the tie and all that, the fact that both of those things were in play at the same time had everyone sort of being like, what the fuck? And I think the whole, you could tell it was one of those that, you're right, where it was one of those things that they came up with when the Ryder Cup was this like gentlemanly fun thing where the United States of America would just basically grace Great Britain with its presence and go play over there every 4 years and like shake their hands and wear the sweaters. And like it was at the point where literally people would skip the Ryder Cup. That's when they came up with these rules. Now it's like, this is the most bitter thing in the world where Rory McIlroy is telling people to shut the fuck up and then hitting shots. And we're going to let the whole thing be determined by if you can't play, you tie. In tennis, this happens all the time. If you get injured in the US Open, you just withdraw and the other guy just advances to the final. Like you don't like, what are we doing where you just get to tie? That's insane. You couldn't show up. It's no different. I was thinking about like in 2012, Rory, that was where Rory famously almost missed his tee time against Keegan Bradley, and he showed up like 10 minutes before. So if Rory would have just missed his tee time, would they have just been like, that's a draw? No, fucking Keegan Bradley would get the point. He'd be like, no, you won. You showed up and played. Harris English should have stood on the tee and been like, I demand someone play against me, and if you don't, I win. Like why? Oh, that's the craziest rule I've ever heard of in sports.
I am weirdly happy that they got to 15 because if they had only gotten to 14, I think we riot. I think we all lose our minds and we just fully just riot against everything because it's bullshit. Yeah, when the rule is such where if all of the European players today said, oh, my neck hurts, I slept wrong, and they would have still won the Ryder Cup, your rule is broken. It is not the right rule. And you're right. It's one of those laws where you can't whistle when you're walking down the street. Like it's one of those that they made up a long time ago. And I'm saying like there's some states, if you look way back, there's these weird laws where it's like, you can't walk backwards down the street or they'll arrest you. It's stupid shit like that. But that rule is in the same category as that. When Viktor Hovalnd is just like, I just can't go. And then he's like, oh, you get a half point. That's your neck hurts so bad that you get half a point, and then for it to actually almost end up really mattering was like, holy shit, man. It's the worst rule in sports. It simply has to be.
It's a joke, and honestly, Viktor Hovalnd like showing up and doing the whole photo with all the
neck looked fine to me.
Like you got to show up in one of those neck braces from Pineapple Express.
That's what we were saying. Just show up. Yeah, show up in a full neck brace.
You have to show up in a neck brace. There's no other way around it. It's a really, really bad rule. It's something, and I actually feel bad for Harris English. He never played his own ball all week. He came to Bethpage and never played his own ball. He only played alternate shot 2 days in a row.
Sucks.
Like you come out here and you don't really get like a lot of people. Also, you qualified on your own, right? So like you deserve to be there just as much as anybody else. Almost, I mean, by literal fact, more than like 6 of the guys, right? You qualified to be there. And you never really get to show the fans and like your teammates what you were made of because like alternate shot is such a different beast. Look at what Scotty Scheffler like it's unbelievably difficult. And like to throw Harris English out there and never really get him going, to me, like that was a little bit of a captain miss, if we're gonna be honest. Like you're taking guys that were captain's picks and you're letting them kind of run like wild, and then you've got guys that clearly have been in better form that are one of those guys, like, right? He's Kiz's guy. He's like a Sea Island guy. Like, everyone kind of loves Harris English. I think he's a Sea Island guy. He's like one of those just like dogs. He's one of those Southern guys that just gets along with all those guys.
Go dogs.
Gary Woodland and Kevin Kisner and Brian Harmon, all these guys. And you really don't let him be himself. That was a little bit of a miss for me. And yeah, it just sucks that he was the guy that was in the envelope. Tough, absolutely tough break.
I can't even fathom. Keegan said it afterwards. He was asked directly, and he was like, "That is a rule that needs to change." And I have to think that after this Ryder Cup, that rule will change. And look, there's a chance Viktor Hovalnd could have, if he was comfortable or if he was, whatever, not air quotes injured, he could have gone out there and beat Harris English, and maybe it would have made the Ryder Cup worse today, and it wouldn't have been that close because they would have got points earlier. You don't know, but the fact that it's not even that. People are. What was annoying me was some of the conversations like, "Oh, it's a bummer that like they do the rule that way because it'd be cool to see what could have been if and like no, what would have been was we would have gotten 1 point, they would have gotten 0. That's like what based on what happened. Like if Viktor Hovalnd wakes up and was incapable of playing today, you just lose, dude. I'm sorry, you show up like it, and I would feel the exact same way if it was an American player. If like we just couldn't front a 12-man lineup, we could only front an 11-person lineup, then like, yeah, we lose that other match. We didn't present the challenge. We didn't have anybody. That's so I that was nuts. And the fact that it was looking like that was going to be the difference forever. And everything's a butterfly effect. So it's like, it still mattered. It still mattered a lot. Like that extra half point taking away from them and adding to us as things were getting closer and closer down the stretch, it makes those other guys get tighter and tighter that are on Europe. It gives our guys more confidence. All of it fucking matters. So that has to change. That absolutely has to change. The other thing is the retaining the cup. I actually don't hate that. And I know it's frustrating. I know it's like kind of stupid that there wouldn't be a playoff, but it's like boxing a little bit where it's like, no, you don't get the cup. Like if you lost the cup to the other team, you don't get it unless you go fucking beat them and take it. You can't just tie them. It's like if you do, they keep it. I kind of understand that.
Lowry's putt almost changed my opinion on it today, because Lowry's putt felt like the winning Ryder Cup putt because it was, and it felt like it actually had gravitas to it. So I'm more on that side of it than I was before. But the Lowry putt was so like, wow, that was a huge moment. I mean, even in Lowry's interview afterwards, that putt and the Ryder Cup means so much to him that he poo-pooed his major that he won on home soil in Ireland. So like that was
he also said fuck this place like 100 times when he played back in Ireland. Remember
this place
that?
fucking sucks.
Fuck
he
this place.
I seem to say that about every place that he plays. If there's
they did have a bunch of
sure.
He's a bit, but yeah, no, I'm
Fuck
less tough on the retention thing.
Like, dude,
you
like
got to take it
anything?
from what?
Does Shane Lowry like anything, right? He was all week. He's like, fuck these fans, fuck this place. He's saying it in his hometown. He's saying it at the Masters. I mean, go watch that video. I love Shane Lowry. Don't get me wrong.
Me
We're
too.
all he's a guy, and I think Lurch said he's a guy I want to share 1 million beers with. I just want to have 1 million beers with Shane Lowry.
I fucking love Shane Lowry, dude. I really do love Shane Lowry. He's been great.
When he's making winning Ryder Cup putts against us, give us 24 hours. We're allowed to like be on the side of it. No, it's the retention thing's a little bit weird, but it makes you think of the cup as like a really important thing, the actual physical Ryder Cup, right?
Yeah.
Like the actual cup, because it's like, hey, we own this cup and you can't take it from us.
Come fucking get it. Come get it,
unless you beat us. So like it makes that actual trophy pretty cool. The fact that like it doesn't go to the other people unless you physically beat them in a match.
Yes, I agree for whatever reason, that rule makes me physically think of the cup too, and that someone actually has to be holding it. And I remember when Team Europe a week and a half ago came over from whatever it was, like the BMW Championship over there, and they all chartered a plane together, and they posted a picture of like the Ryder Cup was in a seatbelt in one of the seats on the plane.
Cool.
They're like,
it's going back.
we are
with them.
physically bringing this Ryder Cup to Bethpage, and we're going to see who wins it. Like I think that part of it's really cool.
Do you think that stays
really,
at
really
Luke
cool.
Donald's house?
Probably.
That's a great question. Is it like the cup? Do you get like your day with the Ryder Cup, like the Stanley Cup?
I would hope that they give it to him for the 2 years. You know, like he just gets to put it on a mantle. When you walk into Luke Donald's house, you see the Ryder Cup. It's like, God damn. My last point on the envelope thing is like I genuinely, and I know this is not realistic. It's been a heavy show of me saying like let's all be rational thinkers here. And if I'm going to be irrational, I'm going to say I think Viktor should have just like if he knew he couldn't do it, play and then just withdraw. Like don't be the envelope guy. You know, have a little bit more pride in that, especially
That's
against
real
your
honor. Yeah.
especially against your competitors who like you are a peer of Harris English and all these guys you're facing against. Like give them a chance to go out there and win it then if you can't get it done. And show some respect to the fact that like they just stayed healthy and you didn't. That's like what sport is. Like you should be rewarded for like staying healthy and like grinding through a treacherous couple of days of golf where it's like multiple sessions, 36 holes, you're grinding out there. It is a lot. There's a ton of travel involved. You're flying all over the place. Like these guys stayed healthy. You didn't. You lose, dude. Like you lose that match. Don't make this like some fucking semantics game about some rule that was written God knows when they were hitting with freaking sheep's wool. Like, come on, dude. At some point, we got to figure out a way to get Viktor Hovalnd to have some honor and just be like IWD.
I couldn't agree more.
That rule might be changed by the time this podcast comes out.
And I don't think it made the ultimate difference, but I do agree with Ray where like it changes everything because like that Harris English also is going off earlier in the day if they're actually playing. There's no way they're finishing. They're not. There's no way they were the final pairing. There's no way.
I actually heard they were.
Really?
I think, dude, because you had to win every point. I think they would have never put Harris English last if it was close, but like you can't put him early because if we lose like one match, it's over. So it was like, I think he would have been pretty late. That was the other part about as it was getting closer was it was like Hogard was one of their guys out there and like he hadn't even played the whole time. So it was like they had their shittier players that then I'm not saying Bobby Mack is a shitty player, but like I'm watching him miss putts out there, like slapping it around, trying to get this thing done. It wasn't Tommy Fleetwood and John Rahm and Rory. Those guys were already done. So as you're looking at this leaderboard with only 3 or 4 matches left, you're like, oh my God, it's the bottom part of their order. It was the bottom-ish part of ours too, but you're like, these guys are going to fucking fold out there. And then that Lowry putt obviously was such a dagger. This episode is brought to you by Brex. Are there any finance folks listening? Well, we found something you're going to love as much as the excitement that you get for anything, whether it's a big golf tournament, football game, whatever it might be. Meet Brex. It's an intelligent finance platform built to give you both control and speed. This was a big week for us last week. We were in New York, taking Ubers all over the place, having meals all over the place, flights, checking bags, all of it. Expensing things is a big part of our life. So if that's better and efficient and quicker, it makes our lives a lot better, which is Brex. That's what Brex does for us.
Yeah, I'm a proud Brex user, just like we all are. I've got the app. Download the app. I'm a huge app guy. Make it easier for me. Expenses, I'm kind of dumb. I don't want to like put in all the information. Then where do I go? Where do I send it? Brex fills everything out. You take a picture of the receipt. It fills everything out for you. What you spent, what you spend it on, what company did you spend it with. It sends it off to the right people. They approve it, and boom, money goes back into your bank account. It's way faster. Our old system, you would submit an expense report, and 2 months later you would get the money. With Brex, it comes within a week usually, which is just, it's great having that money come back to you, especially when you're on a work trip. So the Brex app, the whole Brex experience has been a really good one for me.
Yeah, Brex is fantastic. It's been, again, incredibly, incredibly more efficient. So make sure you check it out. You can learn more at brex.com/grow. That is BREX.com/grow. Oh, look at this read, fellas. It says fall golf is undefeated. Hoodie, golf, crispy air, ball goes forever. And here's the kicker. When the ball drops in the cup this weekend, it might be dropping cash into your account as well. DraftKings Sportsbook has the live bets, the props, the odds boosts, all the action that makes every round a lot more fun. If you're new to betting on golf, it's easier than reading a green. Just pick a golfer to win it all. Place your bet, and you're in the game. We talk about it on the show, but I couldn't help myself. I saw what I thought was a great value play. I hedged my happiness. I bet on Europe plus 170. It was looking really, really good for a while. It ended up looking and working out by a point in the very end. I almost ended up in no man's land, but point is we all had money on Rory McIlroy to win the Masters this year, so you could get some serious excitement with DraftKings.
Yeah, absolutely. Football season, nothing better. We've got a big bet coming up on DraftKings that we all have to kind of talk about. Something from the Ryder Cup that we're going to really have to dial in. So we'll be pretty heavily on that app, just doing our due diligence and finding the right bet. And that's going to be coming up in maybe the next week or so. So yeah, it's a great time to be on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Make sure you cash in on your favorite golfer. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use our code FORE. That's code FORE to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's because new customers, this one is for you. Once again, just bet $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $200 in bonus bets instantly, in partnership with DraftKings. All kinds of their sports coming back, from hockey and basketball. We'll be back very soon. Playoff baseball. There's football all over the place. There's golf this season, the fall schedule. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. The last thing I want to say on the fans really quickly is, dude, the Saturday afternoon thing with all the fans, I think we all, again, rational, let's have a rational point, all agree that, like, everybody, we all knew it was going to get crazy at Bethpage. There was no, like, real violence. I think Rory it looked like somebody threw a drink at Rory and his wife, which is obviously way across the line. Sounded like people were yelling stuff about some rumors and whatnot.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that wasn't there's another video now a day later of like a guy getting his drink knocked out of his hand because someone went like this, and then it went towards Rory's wife. So it's like you gotta retract that, right? Like at the end of the day, this is what freaking social media's turned into. It's just a fucking cesspool of like, you guys are nasty over there. It's just like, oh my God, it's not even what happened.
And what I was going to say was, I know, and you guys all know, that there are golf, either journos, tweeters, Twitter accounts, whatever, this like pool of people that were so happy that happened on Saturday so that they could tweet from their ivory tower about how horrible people are and fans. Like, 2 weeks ago, they were sitting there with a smile on their face being like, I can't wait for people to go over the line so I can sit here and have my moral high ground and talk about how shitty people are and how horrible fans are. Like, that's what I hated about it, was those accounts just sitting there with the pre-written tweets waiting to sit there and cash in all of their like moral high ground self-righteousness over it. And just, that was driving me crazy and wanted me to like, I wanted to defend the shit out of the fans, but you're also not like, which in general, I think we all were, but you're also not like, I didn't want to send something blanket like defending, and then all of a sudden I see a video that like somebody called somebody's wife a C word or something. You're like, oh God, I wasn't defending that. So it's like,
for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to defend what was
but
said.
It's like, no, but I get it. I get why people were so upset. It's so easy to see and feel when you're there. There's nothing to root for. It was depressing. Europeans were killing us. They're singing in our face, and all the other folks that are out there, most of the fans are, again, grinding. It's gridlock. You can barely get from one hole to the other. It's hot. You're out in the sun. All you want to do, it's totally worth it if you can get something to root for. And there's nothing to root for. So eventually, and a couple of the guys put it, Justin Thomas put it perfectly, where he's like, he was like basically trying to defend the fans, but not justify what people were saying, which I think he did a good job of. Where he was like, I was out there, and he was like, it's on us for giving them no choice but to root against people and not something to root for. And I think that was like such a good point by JT. Obviously, X amount of people take it too far and cross the line, and that fucking sucked, but that's always going to happen at sporting events. But 99% of you fans out there that were frustrated and all that, I want you to know that, like, I think we are with you and defend you, and I fucking get it, and you have every right to be like upset out there.
It looks like Rory addressed it at the press conference. I sent it to Ryan Richardson. I don't know what he says, but I'm actually curious to see what he said.
That.
Yeah, let's play that, because I'm curious, because I'm with you. You don't want to generalize about anything, because who knows what who said, but I mean, this is a guy who was out there playing and taking most of it.
That you just have to accept, or is it something that's taking the game in a dangerous direction?
No, I don't think we should ever accept that in golf. I think golf should be held to a higher standard than what was seen out there this week. Golf has the ability to unite people. Golf teaches you very good life lessons. It teaches you etiquette. It teaches you how to play by the rules. It teaches you how to respect people. And sometimes this week we didn't see that. So no, this should not be what is acceptable in the Ryder Cup. But we will be making sure to say to our fans in Ireland in 2027 that what happened here this week is not acceptable. And it's for me, it's come and support your home team. Come and support your team. I think if I was an American, I would be annoyed that I didn't hear a lot of shouts for Scotty today, but I heard a lot of shouts against me. And it's like, support your players. That's the thing. So, look, it was a rough week for all of us. But at the same time, we shut them up by our performance and how we played. And we tried to, I tripped back a few times because it got to me a few times, but we tried to handle everything that came our way with class and poise. And for the most part, I felt like we did that.
Yeah, I would just say that it's just a product of golf expanding and exploding to the point where, like, yes, golf is an amazing etiquette sport, teaches you how to take your hat off, shake hands, be polite, manners, play by the rules, don't cheat when people aren't watching, like the whole entire deal, right? Like that, I understand that, but that is the reality. And here's the rational thinking again. Like that's the reality for only so many people at some point when you expect, when, like, I don't know who that's on. Is that on just like golf wanting to be this like major sport that has, when you go to a college football game, 100,000 people there, it's like the most raucous crowd ever. They're anti the other team to a point where, like, if you're from Mississippi or if you're a Mississippi fan or a Mississippi State fan, you want to kill each other, right? It's like it's ingrained in them to go to these big events, get drunk.
Dude, I
and
remember in
scream at each
college
other.
hockey, all the other teams would always, all their fans, thousands of them, would always poke on Facebook our goalie before the games.
Yeah,
So
and
he,
it's like
on like Thursday of that week, if we were playing like Cornell or something Friday night, he would have like 700 pokes from Cornell fans.
Right. And I mean, it's just been the history. You go to Yankee games and this is another New York team, but like you get like those Bronx cheers kind of like everyone's booing the other team, even their own team. They're cursing out their own players. If you're out there in right field with, they're screaming at you from beginning to end. And I'm not saying that that's the way it should be. I'm just saying that the bigger that you get and the more people that keep coming to these events, if you're going to get 60,000 people at Bethpage Black, you're going to have a couple people that are going absolutely nuts. And that's something that like Rory needs to be like a rational thinker about. Like, he's like, this is not where the game should be. Well, it's like, well, then make it like just the members only of the people that are gonna be able to follow the rules. I don't know. You're getting a lot of people from different places and different fan bases. I'm not saying that they should be saying those things. Like, I think everyone should be a good, normal person, right? It's just the reality of the situation is when you get 60,000 people in anything, you're going to get a couple of odd ducks that do the wrong thing. And
Right.
like, I don't know that that's, I don't know if that's like the takeaway. He goes like the way he was talking about it was like, this is a week we're all going to remember as like a bad, dark week in the week of golf in the existence of the game of golf. I don't know, man. Like Brian Harmon came on this show and said some of the shit that was said to him when he was winning the Open Championship was the worst shit he's ever heard in his entire life. Like he just kept going on, and like guys were relentless. They did not want him to win. They were rooting against him. They wanted hometown guys to win, and he shut them up by playing. Like, yeah, I feel like it's easy to go up there on a stage and platform after you've won and like talk down to the whole entire system. Like, I understand what you just went through, but like everyone kind of does that on the road. I don't know. Like, it's just the way the world is now. The world's not perfect, dude. And I wish it was. I wish everyone sat there and just cheered. I do agree with him too. I'm like,
yeah,
I like when I go to Islander Ranger games, there's nothing better than when we would like out cheer the Rangers fans. It would be the Let's Go Rangers chant and then the Let's Go Islander chant. And those are some of my earliest memories of being at the Coliseum, where it would be like 50%, and we were just going at it. But it wasn't like fuck the Rangers. It was more Let's Go Islanders. Can we be louder than them? And you could just tell the players loved it. It was like, where are the fans in the crowd? You could hear them. I get what he's saying. That is a perfect world. I would love for that to happen. But dude, you're gonna. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's hot out there. There's a lot of drinks. There's a lot of pieces of shit out there, man.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I mean, I wasn't out there Saturday afternoon when it was apparently at its worst, so it's hard for me to comment because I'm not a guy who was standing there like hearing all the things. Now it doesn't, like you're saying, it's not a huge leap in logic. You're out there all day, you're drinking all day, you're hot, you don't have much to root for on the American side because they're getting dog walk left and right. And I think that where I land with it and where a lot of people land with it is that there's just, as your sport grows and gets bigger, there's going to be a percentage of people who are just assholes. And there's no getting rid of it. There's no, this is in every single walk of life that you see. Your job, your favorite sports team, the golf, like everything that seemingly gets bigger, there is a percentage of people who are just going to push it too far. And I don't know what you do about that. I mean, that just seems to be part of society. So again, I wasn't out there, so I don't know all of the things that were said, but I'm sure there was some crazy shit said, but there's a percentage of people who are just going to say crazy shit.
Getting sloppy steaks at Givroni's. They can't stop you from getting 4 steaks and 4 waters and just slopping them up. Like, you're just going to get a couple of pieces of shit. And I feel bad for Rory. I was cringing at some of the things that were being said to him that I could tell was being said to him just based off of his reaction to it. Cause I think Rory's a great guy and I don't think anyone should be talked down to at a point where it's like, I mean, no one in any walk of life should be like subjected to that, or like their wives should be subjected to that. Like, just because it's a golf event doesn't mean like I want him to be upset and like other people to like make fun of him or like make him feel like he should be fearful for like the well-being of him and his family and stuff. Like, that's outrageous. Whatever that was being said to him, we completely denounced that. That's outrageous. I'm just 100%. Saying like sports atmospheres are just getting out of control now. And like, I guess my final point's like, it's just something like, you don't need to specifically say like it was this event with this place. I mean, I know that I'm going to defend New York and Long Island because it hits a little bit more home for me, but it's like, dude, you could have had this event anywhere. If that result was happening, you were going to get some nasty comments. Unfortunately, it's the way the world works. And I fucking hate it. I think the world sucks right now.
Agreed. I think that what we're trying to say, right, is like that we don't defend any of the over the line stuff in any way, shape, or form. But I also would say that everyone kind of knew coming in that there's going to be a certain amount of fans that are going to be there. When you have that many people there, some people are going to go over the line. And everyone, I think, understood that coming in. And that doesn't justify it. But I also think some people looking at it now being like, oh my God, where it's like, I don't know, man. This is kind of what Trent predicted a shove. Like we saw it.
Oh, we got so close.
We were so close, but yeah, it sucks. It should be denounced. It is being denounced by the folks on this show. But I also think everyone needs to have some sort of acceptance of we don't live in like a utopia. There's going to be fucking assholes. If we want golf to be this gigantic, huge game and event on the biggest stage, there's some stuff that you're just going to have to accept that's going to suck. And like that part of it sucked. It sucked for Brian Harmon when he was trying to win the Open. It sucks at the Waste Management that there's a percentage of people that go over the line. That part of it sucks. And it's unfortunately just something we kind of have to accept with the sheer numbers of what we're trying to do at these events. That's just a bummer. Dude. But I think that's
and it goes back to what Rory was like, this game brings us this and this and this. And dude, you're introducing this event to people that don't know what that game is. So like all the things that you say are great about golf and like how it should be structured and like what it should bring you as a person and what kind of personality you should have because of the game, that you're talking to a very finite group of people at that event. You got a lot of people from all different walks of life that are just going to show up there, get drunk and start screaming shit because they have no idea what else is going on. These tickets were being bought by every single type of person, every single fan of every different type of sport. It's just like, you're not getting the guys that know you got to fix your pitch marks and that's not saying that only golfers should be normal human beings. Like, dude, at the end of the day, you got to just be a normal person. Like, dude, Rory, like, do we have to go up there and just be like, yeah, I wish the world was normal? Like, of course, dude, there's a lot of bad shit going on out there. I guess just being screamed at a golf course is like, it is what, like, it's just bad.
I actually thought the answer he gave right after the Saturday round was an interesting one, and that I really liked, where the interviewer asked him, like, do you think people went over the line out there? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And he was like, I think the people who are out there who maybe said over the line shit should think about themselves and ask themselves whether they went over the line or not. Like at that point, he wasn't being like judge and jury and being like, this is what should be said and this is what shouldn't. He was just kind of like, listen, man, I'm a guy. Those people are just out there watching, and they're saying things that they themselves should go home and decide whether or not they went over the line. And that I thought was pretty
100%.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
right,
rational thinking. Like I 100% agree with that. I just said this to you when we were at Bethpage, Trent, and we were driving back. I'm like, and it's always been bad, and we've always gotten a ton of like online hate and people messaging us and stuff. But like X and even like sometimes with Instagram with all these like fake accounts and stuff, it just the world is just getting just so overwhelmingly just bad. And it's like it's just everyone just is not normal anymore. Like not everyone, it's like overgeneralizing it, but there's so many non-normal people that have so much more access than they ever had. It's a shitty place, man. Like it's becoming there's not a single response like on X anymore that's like a normal response. You can't even have a conversation anymore. And like you can't even have a conversation with half the people at these events because like everyone's just got these crazy takes. Their brains are completely washed. It's like no one's like a normal person anymore. So when you get 60,000 people out there, however many it was, you're gonna get a ton of non-normal people just fucking spewing out hate. So like maybe let's knock this thing down to 15,000 just golfers that are registered with the USGA, and you're not gonna get anyone screaming at you, I guess.
Yeah. I really thought Ted Scott was going to shove Francesco Molinari. He threw the pointer finger at him, and there's a still picture that if you were to show someone who didn't watch what happened on that 15th and 16th hole, you would have said, oh, that guy's just going to extend his arm and shove that person into the next county. Didn't end up happening. Those were kind of the only the Justin Rose, Bryson DeChambeau caddy on the 15th hole. That was kind of the only fireworks that we got, and they were pretty good. I thought maybe it would spill over a little bit more. What's that?
It was over aim point, so it's so golf. Like the fact that like that almost shove was over aim point. God,
Justin Rose being like, basically,
stupid.
Justin Rose was like, get the fuck out of the way, and there was just a miscommunication on who was going to putt first. Those were the fireworks that we got, and they were pretty good for about 5 minutes.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to give a bunch of credit to Bryson DeChambeau, who like he was trying, man. Like it was, I was watching the whole Ryder Cup Friday, Saturday with my dad, who my dad, as you guys know, is an old school guy, is a hockey guy. And he about, 2 hours into play on Saturday was like, we need a fucking fight. We need to somebody needs to fucking punch somebody. Which is like in hockey, that's still a big part of the game of when you're just getting dominated. At some point, you send somebody out there to hit somebody else, drop the gloves, and try to get something going. And I thought Bryson was doing the golf version of that. He was trying to be annoying to the point where he wasn't being mean to the other players, but he was over-exaggerating, going nuts with the fans. I mean, he'd make like a 4-foot putt to win the hole and then just go bazooka and like all over the place. And I loved that. He was obviously part of like when they're getting into it in the 8 point, whatever the hell it was over. I liked that he was just stirring it up. He was getting people going, marching up from the 15th hole to the 16th green. He was not backing down. He was like marching up that pathway with those guys and the caddies and just being like, no. And like go, and we needed that. We fucking needed that. We're trying to find a spark. It was sort of the Joe LaCava thing from 2 years ago in Rome, where it's like you need a little bit of something. And so huge credit to Bryson that, again, we have a weird relationship with Bryson on this show always. We're up, we're down, the whole thing. The fact that he just brings it for the Ryder Cup, he was getting emotional afterwards about it, talking about it. I fucking loved what I saw from Bryson out of the whole weekend.
Yeah, Bryson really showed a lot of fight, especially being there. My God, was he getting the crowd going. And when Fitzy missed that putt, he went nuts. He sprinted right by me. I got to go back and watch the footage to see did they show him walking up the hill? Because, I mean, I couldn't have been closer to him when he basically hit my shoulder. Did. I got to go back and look at that footage because I had a big smile ear to ear, just like watching him walk up there. I was filming him. It's the coolest thing watching him kind of zone in, and because he does generate so much energy out there, and the crowd loves it. And my shout out would yours is to Bryson, which is completely warranted. Mine is to JT. Justin Thomas, he gets a lot of hate for like a lot of the things that he might do out there where like it might feel forced with like the come-ons, but he never stops trying to get the crowd going. On a team where everyone says that there's not enough genuine excitement and these guys all kind of play for themselves. This guy, his entire life of playing Ryder Cups has always been about getting the crowd going, being one of those fiery guys. And what he did today, I got to see him up close. He is just like, he really does feel like just like one of our buddies out there. Like he does, like you're looking at Justin Thomas and you're like, how the fuck is this guy who he is? Like, how is he about to hit these shots? And he hits some of these shots and some of these putts and some of these big moments. And you just like can't believe it's coming out of him. And he's just this like, you know, he's not the biggest frame and he's just like JT, like walks around like me and like always kind of like his shirt's not fitting and he's just walking around. He's hitting bombs and sticking irons and drilling long putts and the crowd is going nuts. Like he gets me going, man. Justin Thomas in those events gets me going. I called him Captain America. He's taking that. He is the guy, man. JT is the guy. I know it might be Bryson. To me, it's JT. He gets my vote.
The putt
if we're
giving was insane.
Insane. If we're giving shout outs, I'll shout out Cam Young. What a great week for the guy. Local guy, I guess. Is that true? Like, are they close in proximity?
He's from the same state, you know?
Yeah,
it's like the city. He went to Fordham Prep, which is like a city school, but his dad, I think, works maybe a professional at Sleepy Hollow.
Okay.
So it's like that Westchester, like northern New York City, right? Is that
sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great week. One of the few guys who like on the American side who had a really solid week. He's, we've not been hard on him on the show, but he doesn't have a ton of personality out there. We call him Eeyore, but then when he's playing well, it's really fun to watch. Bombs the ball, was making putts, had a huge putt on 18 today, and I just thought he was for a Ryder Cup rookie. He really was a shining example of like, you can play well throughout the whole weekend, guys. Don't be afraid to get points as the entire event goes along. So shout out to Cam Young, who I thought had a really, really great Ryder Cup debut.
I love those 3 shout outs. I would like to shout out to, before it'd be a shame if we didn't shout out the TV coverage. This is now so many years into this Ryder Cup every 2 years. We kind of forget. There's so much hype that you assume that when the Ryder Cup is on that you'll be able to watch the Ryder Cup. And you forget that they don't really let you watch all the Ryder Cup. And I just would say that in 2 years' time, give us a premium option. Just give us an option. Whatever it is, whatever you want to charge, give a completely commercial-free option to watch every single shot of every single match that ever exists in that 3 days of Ryder Cup play. Give us an option. We do advertisements on this show. Our jobs, our salaries are all based on ad revenue. I get it. However, you got to give us an option that if you really want to be able to trim it down, not have to cut away, not miss any shots, there's a way to pay, to do a paywall, to have a membership, to have a subscription, to have something where you can see every single shot that's ever hit in the Ryder Cup and miss nothing. In 2 years' time, just give us an option. That's my big request.
Yeah. I mean, in a world where there's a million different subscription services and stuff, like Danny Rappaport, I think, had the tweet that went viral where he's like, I mean, the Masters shows every single shot. It's got so many players in it, and you guys have 4 groups out there. And you clearly have the cameras on every single guy. How do we not have an option to see every single swing, every analytic, every single statistic in real time? If I want to have 12 TV set up, I can have like the greatest Ryder Cup viewing day of all time. You won't give me that option. You will not let me watch
the golf.
Just want to watch it. I'll pay to watch it. And
I mean, we were there for a lot of it, so I didn't really get
the
experience of all the commercials, but like in my group chat, that was firing off where like they were just cutting away and then coming back, and like, Europe had been up. Europe would just be up again in like 2 or 3 matches, and you're like, what just happened? We just missed all that.
Dude, today,
caught a couple real bad.
Yeah, they didn't show Bryson's fucking tee shot today on 18. It's like he was in a tied match, and like, right, he's going nuts. He's walking up the hill by you on 17 after Fitz misses, going fucking crazy. He's the most electric driver of the golf ball to watch in the history of the game. He's on the 18th hole of the Ryder Cup in like a must-have situation. And they don't show it, and then they come back from commercial, and he's like in the right fescue hitting a shot. You're like, what happened?
Yep. They also, early on, before it started getting out of hand, the first 2 days, they would do the playing through that they do, and there were just huge moments that were happening, and guys were finally screaming at each other and at the crowd, and it was only playing the audio of the ad, and you were just watching like Tommy Fleetwood scream, but you couldn't hear. It was like watching a silent movie. It was
insane.
like, you guys are doing it wrong. So yeah, a premium option. Again, we understand advertisements, but a premium option where we can just watch everything because it's not that many guys, it's not that many groups, would be a welcome addition.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes. Are you tired of overpaying for your golf habit? It's a total buzzkill. That's why you need Golf Pass Plus. It's the ultimate golf hack for guys who actually play. As a member, you're going to save more than $400 every year. If you want to play better, you're going to get all kinds of access to expert instruction videos from real pros. That's, again, why you need Golf Pass Plus.
Yeah, it's just an additive thing. If you are into the game of golf, you got to have Golf Pass. The instructional videos are a big part of it. You sign up, they send you a bunch. You're just trying to get better at golf, but that's what we're all trying to do. And the thing that helps is just very easy to consume instructional videos, and Golf Pass has all that. So if you're really trying to dive deep, really get better at the game of golf, I would start with Golf Pass.
Plus, all the waive fees on the tee times is a huge thing.
Yeah.
People hate fees.
Huge.
So being a part of this, if you golf enough, you got to have this premium service because they are going to waive all the fees. If you're booking a ton of tee times, this is just going to pay for itself.
Stop overpaying for your golf habit. Golf Pass Plus gives you the hookup to the tee time savings and the expert instruction that you need so you can play more and play better. Join now, Golf Pass Plus, and get a $50 credit for golf balls. I mean, we'll have much more, I'm sure, to break down on the second show of the week on Thursday. Trent has his hand raised. Yes, Trent?
Let's all make a prediction. We can either do it together or separately. Who will be the next Team USA captain of the Ryder Cup?
I got my prediction. I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
Was he tweeting a lot this weekend?
No.
Oh.
My prediction is Mr. Eldrick Tiger Woods, and I'm blown away that he wasn't there this weekend.
Yeah, that was not. He was pretty. There was nothing. He didn't put anything up, at least as far as I've seen.
I got a tweet today in the middle of all the stuff about his gear, about his apparel. I was saying,
I got a notification. On my phone because I think he's the one guy I have notifications on for when he tweets. And I saw that Tiger Woods has tweeted, and it was at a weird time. It was at a time, if you were to tweet then, you would have said this fucking sucks. That we're losing so bad. And then I looked and it was a Sunday Red retweet or something. The guy that I have, and this is pure speculation, and I think he has been tweeting a lot this weekend and downplaying it and saying he's not involved in Team USA anymore. But it's Phil Mickelson. He was all over the Ryder Cup this weekend.
He just tweeted, I think he actually sent out something today saying that his involvement in all Ryder Cup stuff has come to an end.
Which is probably, I think that's true right now, but couldn't he just get worked back into the fold? I mean, we're talking about a system where we're we got to figure out a new way to do these things. And, I think he was sort of forever lined up for this to be his Ryder Cup where, it was Phil and Bethpage Black in New York and people love him. And then the live stuff happened and the world got crazy and it ended up being Keegan Bradley. But it was more tweets this weekend from him than he's not a guy who does things accidentally. You know what I mean?
No.
He's doing these things on purpose. So I just don't know what the purpose is yet, but I think he's at least on everybody's radar as potentially being the next captain.
My prediction is, and it's only if he wants it, because I know that this guy wears it on his sleeve and his emotions are really, this is going to affect him big time. I think it's Keegan Bradley's just going to stay the captain if he wants it. I think what you saw on Sunday, I think these guys have way too much heart to just give up. And I think they're going to want to get another crack at this. And I think what you saw on Sunday and everything we just talked about for the last hour and a half, where astronomically outrageous putting had to happen for them to go down the way that they did. I do think that maybe this is the beginning of some sort of system. It's a young captain. The players love him. Maybe we have to start somewhere, dude. You got to start somewhere. You can't keep picking and choosing and placing and replacing. At some point,
I don't hate it.
I don't even. At some point, you just got to
introducing a two Ryder Cup captaincy system where you always do two, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, while we were talking about how do we get consistency, I actually thought what you're bringing up right now, Frankie, where it's okay, but we are on a run here where we're losing Ryder Cups, and what we do when we lose is we blow it up. That is the opposite of consistency. So you almost have to bite the bullet. And trust me, you are going to get some bad blowback in the headlines if you make Keegan Bradley the captain again, because they're going to look at those first 2 days and be like, I get that Sunday was really fun, but the reason it was really fun is because we got our fucking doors blown off for the first 2 days and we questioned the setup and we questioned the pairings and we questioned everything about it. So to bring this guy back is an interesting choice. However, I see what you're trying to do, and I think it's probably the right move for Team USA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Ryan Richards is going to clip me to death, and he's only going to include the fact that I say Keegan Bradley should be the captain again. But I think everything we've talked about over the last hour and a half of this show goes to show you that there are a lot of things that you can take from this that are positive. I do think that, yeah, it was an anomaly at what happened, and I think you just toss up like losing to just losing, and let's just go again. Pucks on net, man. Like, you know. Like, I don't know, the Yankees like keep bringing back Aaron Boone, and it's like, ah, damn, like this guy just keeps losing. But it's like, hey, man, the players love him, and like we keep getting to the playoffs. Like maybe one of these years we're gonna crack off a World Series. It might be this year, and if it's not, he's probably
another
gonna come back.
Luke Donald, Keegan Bradley Ryder Cup gets me fired up.
Dude, you gotta give
fully
him
on
that
board for
chance, man. I think you like owe it to him. Everything that this guy's been through, if he wants it, you got to give him another chance. He needs to get another 2 years to get this team back into shape. Give him maybe a couple better players. Hopefully guys start playing better, right? And like it's not like the qualifying names aren't guys that you're not going to let him hit his own ball. Like Harris English didn't hit his own ball all fucking week, but he was the number 5th ranked qualifying player. Hopefully he gets a better top 6. And let's just go at it in Ireland, man.
I hope Keegan makes the Ryder Cup team in 2 years. That's what I hope. I hope he makes that team.
Oof, I think we're in a tough spot if he's making it, but yeah.
I think kind of back to where we are now. We talked about how we need a guy who's out of it. And Keegan is the opposite of out of it because he almost qualified this year for his own team. Or I didn't almost qualify, but he was close to the top 12 where you make sense to pick yourself. That is like, we're talking, when you talk about Stricker, you're talking about a guy who's been separated from the game and is not even like, there's 0 points for him going towards the Ryder Cup. Keegan, you start walking that line again, and it's like, all right, what is he? Is he a player or is he the captain?
I know. He's 39 years old. Justin Rose is like 45.
True.
And he's still doing the damn thing. He basically should have made the last 2 Ryder Cup teams. I would love to see Keegan Bradley make the Ryder Cup team and then like play really well and get an away victory as like a player. I think that would be
there's just a ton. There's way more just like happiness and success in Justin Rose's like life of Ryder Cups than Keegan Bradley's. Like his 45 years have been way more leisurely around this event than Keegan. So like Keegan's 30, he'll be 41 in the next one. Like he's living in presidential years. He's basically 90.
Dude, the interview he gave today after it was over, they asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, my relationship with this event is weird. He had this 10,000 yard stare. I think weird is the right word for it because he's wanted to be on these teams. He's, and then he doesn't make it, and then he's the captain, and he's got this suitcase, and it's a weird history for sure. So he might want to just be like, you know what? You guys handle it. I'll try to make the team, but if not, God bless.
Dude, the first
I was getting
4 or 5
trolled by
holes,
Shane Lowry, which is tough.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
It's
just the Shane Lowry post. They had like the Keegan quote on the back wall, and just tough.
Do the first like 5 holes. There was a lot of blue up there. Like we were losing a couple of the first matches, like down 1, down 2. And I was standing right next to Keegan. He gave me a look, and I don't know if it like registered as to who I was, but he kind of stared at me and then stared right through me, like right over my shoulder. He was sitting in a cart and he was like this, listening in his earpiece. And he was in the back of the cart, and Scotty had just come off 5 and he was about to go on 6. And like something like snapped out of him, and he like came back to reality, stood up on the cart and watched Scotty hit on 6. But like it was I was looking at him being like, God, dude, this is like going for the presidency where you think it's gonna like, hey, this is gonna change our lives, we're gonna be one of the greats, and then you just realize that no matter what you do, like there's a real great chance that everyone hates what you did, and you're gonna go down. It's gonna like ruin everything, right? Like you had a pretty good gig, and now it's like negative.
If today didn't play out the way that it did, where it got close, or if it were just like another blowout day, that like the Zach Johnson legacy thing times like 1,000.
Because he wears it on his sleeve so much more. Zach, I feel like, is in his own world. Keegan is, and we said it in the beginning, he's a Northeast guy. You can see it on him. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. When he's upset, you can just tell by looking at him. When he's excited, his heart is beating 180 beats per second per minute. And speaking of which, the whoop stuff on JT was insane on number 1.
Awesome.
Sub 130, dude. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know how that guy does that. 120 something is nuts. Like, I'm 130 walking down the stairs.
Yeah, also, we had that idea like 10 years ago. We were like,
I'm so glad they do it now. I'm so glad
It
they
is
do
so
it now.
cool.
I didn't see it because I wasn't watching the broadcast, but I heard it was awesome.
It's
Like,
awesome.
everyone
They
was
had it
cool
on.
shit.
Sometimes they would throw it on Keegan, and it's just like, what's Keegan's heart rate at?
Was
right
it
now?
high?
No, it was like 90s.
Oh,
He's just like
okay.
walking around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my pick is Keegan Bradley for the next one. So I don't think we have any other options. I think you got to find some consistency with this team.
I
It's just
like
my
it.
opinion.
I don't think they're gonna do it, but I like it. I think they're gonna. Yeah.
Let
I'm
Keegan be the
worried
guy
what
for the
they're
next
gonna do.
20 years. Come up with a system. If we lose every single one, we were losing them anyway.
I don't know how we're
I
going to
know.
beat Luke Donald. Beef tweeted it the other day. He's like a movie villain. He's out there with his comms, and he's handsome, and he's
He's
Dude,
quiet.
He's got some sort of he's quiet. He's got some sort of formula. All the guys, when they do their interviews, they're like, he's an incredible leader. And you're like, we're talking about
Dude,
Luke
Keegan
Donald?
Bradley called him the greatest Ryder Cup captain of all time today. He that was the first thing Keegan said when they lost. He was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, we lost to Luke Donald, who's the greatest Ryder Cup captain in the history of events that have ever occurred." He's just like, God damn.
And Luke Donald fell into the captaincy because of Liv.
Yeah.
Yep, it's supposed to be Henrik Stenson.
Where is Henrik Stenson now?
Give me Henrik Stenson. I think he got failed out of Liv.
I think Rory today afterwards said that Luke Donald shepherded us to a victory, just like he did in Rome. And it's like, these are some words you guys are using.
Biblical.
They fucking love each other, man. They just fucking love each other, and they're
By the
so
way,
happy. They're
this we can wrap up, I guess, with like, what a year for Rory McIlroy.
oh,
Just
the
holy
best year.
shit, dude. Pebble, Sawgrass, Masters, Ryder Cup, at Bethpage Black, like, wow, what a year.
he won the Irish Open too, which I know is
Yeah.
not on the level of the others, but that's a fucking his national championship.
It's probably one of the better years in the history of golf, no? Because of the Grand
Yes.
Slam, because of the
Right,
Ryder
like
Cup.
completing the Grand Slam, like a Masters is still a big deal every year, but like for it to be
Players.
that special, the players in a playoff, the Irish Open.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
and
telling
he's
you,
just-
that might be one of the best. This got to be a top 10 year in the history of golf.
Yeah, yes.
there.
I mean, it
Legacy-wise.
really is up there. Yeah, dude. God, what a year for him. Dude, he started the press conference tonight. One of the guys was asking him like, when do you decide to give it back to the fans and when don't you? Which is such a dumbass question, but he asked that question and he was like, I noticed at one point you said back to somebody like, yeah, I'm really fucking good or something. And Rory just assertively goes, oh, I am really fucking good. And he goes, I am really good. Really good is what he said to the reporter in the interview. I was like, oh my God.
Here's
He
the
is.
thing. He is really, really good.
He
Like
is
that's
really
not
good.
that's not a guy who's like, no, I'm good. It's like, no, dude, you're really good. Really
Dude,
good.
it was sick when he said that. I was like, holy shit. I don't know anyone that can speak that way. I was like, oh my God. Here, let me see if we can get this fucking clip up. This clip was like blew me away.
He said it during the press conference.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I did see that somewhere.
This
He
clip
also
blew me away when he said this. I was like, what?
He also at one point I don't even know what day it was or what hole. There was just a video of from someone in the crowd, like pretty far away, where Rory was just walking around and pointing at people and going, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." It's quite a week. Oh, here we go.
Question is, how do you pick and choose when to interact? Yesterday on 16 in the afternoon, I heard some guy who was like, "Roy, you're not that good," and you said, "I'm really effing good." And so
I am
I know you are.
really good.
I know.
Oof.
Dude, he
That's-
said so. He went even deeper on it, but yeah, he was like, I'm really good. Yeah.
He is. He
They just
is.
got all
He
the
is.
swag. They can
He
say
is.
whatever they want now. It's like this
course.
is a victory parade.
They can say, yeah, whatever they want, and they will. And there's gonna be some crazy party videos that come out. I'm sure Shane Lowry is gonna be drinking all night. It's just, yeah. I wish it was us. I wish it was our crew.
Wish it was our guys. I wish it was Scotty Scheffler, man. I wish I had footage of Scotty Scheffler having a great time tonight. Sucks. Good for Europe. They've fucking dominated. They deserved it. sucks. Sad. I'm glad there was a lot of fight. It was a really cool ending. I can't believe we were like a putt away from it really coming down to like the last match. We were a putt away from it coming down to the last match.
Last night, I was going to sleep, and the last thing that I did was I went on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I looked at the odds. I threw $100 on Team USA to win the Ryder Cup today.
Oh, man.
Would have paid out $6,000. So I was, just like everyone else, I was losing my mind when that was going on, but to a higher degree where I was like, this would be really, really nice. I also made me think about the bet that Frankie tried to talk us into at the beginning of the week, which would have, for 2 days, it would have been really shitty, and like we would have been pissed. And then we still would have ended up losing, but it would have been
around
a hell
like
of an ending,
3 or 4 p.m. We would have been going nuts, been like, holy shit, we're back, we're back.
So now at least we
good on you guys for holding your ground. I mean, listen.
Well, Riggs won money this week.
Yeah, you did win money. Like
there was always
needed to be.
I was very close to being in the worst window of all time on that. By the way, there was a stretch today where it looked like we might tie the Ryder Cup, but Europe would retain. So like we lose, Europe's partying and celebrating, and I would have lost all my money because they would have tied the Ryder Cup.
That's disgusting.
Oh, dude, I was no joke when Tyrrell Hatton like won that half point. I was going crazy over here. I was like, thank fucking God.
I mean, I definitely like thought the United States would have won like when they were minus 150. So it's good that you guys didn't listen to me. I was pretty serious about that bet. I mean, I put 500 on the DraftKings Sportsbook of them to win pre Ryder Cup.
Honestly, I could have been talked into it if it was closer to even money. If it was like minus 110 or something, which what I thought, I think we all thought it should have been, was like that would have been much easier. But the plus 170. I mean, that's what I got Europe at, was plus 170. It's like that's ridiculous.
We live to see another day with that money. We got to figure out what we're going to bet our Ryder Cup winnings on.
I know. I'm starting to get texts from a bunch of people are lobbying on the side a little bit now about it.
Sure.
So we gotta really figure that out. We have an
my other pick. I was
like,
let's throw it on the Steelers because they're playing in like Germany or Dublin. They were playing in Ireland, and they like the Steelers won. So I was like, fuck. I was 0 for 2 on $80,000 bets. Do not. I mean, I'm either do or do not even look at me when you place that bet.
Right. I don't know how to look at that. It's a good question. All right. Well, what an event the Ryder Cup is. It was so sad and like blow the whole thing up for a while, and then it ended up being awesome. Seeing all the emotions afterwards is like, even if we're not coming out on top, there's nothing I love more than the Ryder Cup. Like literally everybody out there that's really into golf does their own fake version of the Ryder Cup called like a buddy's Ryder Cup trip, and it's awesome when we do it. And then watching them do like they're doing the actual Ryder Cup was so cool to watch. We talk about it all the time. We hype it up all the time. And then watching them play in the actual Ryder Cup where they're teeing off in a match against another person from another country that all the fans hate and want you to defeat is like so unbelievably sick. So I love the Ryder Cup. Such a bummer that we lost, but awesome fight today, honestly. And in 2 years, if we can somehow turn this ship around and beat them in Ireland, it would be unfucking believable. So let's just focus our attention on that, and that's all we can do.
Agreed.
A little sobering that like a big event that I've been looking forward to is now like past us. It's just like how old we're getting, and like time is just like flying by us. Like the Bethpage Ryder Cup is over. Do you know how long I've been thinking about that? They put that sign up to the right of the first tee in like 2018. It feels like even when the PGA Championship was there, it was like the Ryder Cup's coming here in 2025.
I know.
Gone, dude.
And we lost.
We lost. I got a baby now. Like it's like so much is like it's just gone.
Baby
like,
Frankie's 0-1 in Ryder Cups.
Oh, dude, horrible.
So it feels like so much. It's like we haven't seen shit for we're just losing a bunch.
Whistling Straits was 150 years ago,
dude. Insane how long ago that was.
150
well, dude,
ago.
I was fighting with like my buddies. Shout out to my guy Mike, who has just like the worst takes of all time. Everyone has that buddy who has the worst takes of all time. I was just like fighting with him today, where he's like, "Where's Brooks Koepka?" He's like, he dominated Bethpage. I'm like, that was 6 years ago. Brooks Koepka missed the cut at 3 of the 4 majors this year. Played pretty poorly during Live, and also. Like your basis on him tearing up this golf course, which isn't even playing the same way that he played it, was 6 years ago. It was in 2019. It's the year 2025.
Where's
guy, I
Jack
don't even know if he's
Nicklaus,
playing
dude?
golf
Get
anymore.
Jack out there. That guy was sick.
Yeah. But
Oh.
that's just goes to show just like how, like, I don't know what, I mean, obviously COVID made like 3 years feel like a time warp where it's like, wait a
It
minute,
did.
2021 went to 2023 and forward. So like none of these years feel real. I think there's a theory out there that the world ended in 2020 and we're just like living in the afterlife now, which I kind of like,
I would check.
with.
I would check that.
Yeah.
I could.
Feels
buy
like
that.
we're
I
in a
could-
weirder time now that like time is moving in a weirder time. Things are kind of going like this.
This isn't a shout out, but it's a takeaway, and then we can wrap up. John Rahm, still just an absolute savage.
Dude, total savage. And I kind of wrote down on my list here too that there's a handful of European players that are big friends of the program that I just want to say, like, great job. Like John Rahm is a great friend of the program. Tommy Fleetwood is a great friend of the program. Remember Matt Fitzpatrick, dude? How many times we had him on the show for all those years? Like Shane Lowry, every time we see him at events, is like a Barstool guy. He knows what's going on in the world. He's filming those videos with Dan Rappaport back in the day with over the last couple of years. Like, these are friends of the program that are on that European team, and watching them out there just in the Thunderdome getting chirped by the fans and all that. It's like those are guys that, again, we've had so much connection with that have been awesome and given us time of day a lot, and seeing them out there do it. It sucks that they're European, but I also was like, in the least amount that you could kind of be attached to it, I was like, I am proud of them on like a human level. So it sucks that they dominated us so much, but those friends of the program, good for you guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, I was happy for Tommy Fleetwood. I can't lie about that.
Me too. He's the best.
Met his son Mo, like to the left of 16. He was like, "Yeah, we're rather big fans in the Fleetwood house of the foreplay guys."
Just God, the best. All right.
All right, everyone. We'll be back in 2 years. Don't worry. We're coming. We're coming. The Bethpage Ryder Cup is officially over. It's in the books. We lost, and we've got to pick up the pieces and get this ship turned around. So, long show today, but obviously the Ryder Cup recap. We got 2 Barstool Classics going on in a hurricane here in North Carolina, so that should be interesting over the next couple days.
Real interesting for us.
Every time we do a Barstool Classic in North Carolina, it rains, dude. But
it's always like the
show
last
goes
one
on.
where you make it through 25 events, and it's like the last one. It feels like always rains.
Perfect weather all year. We've had great weather all year, and we've got back to back through it's like 94% chance of rain the next 2 days for these Barstool Classic events at Tobacco Road. So I tried to send out as many notes as we could. Bring your rain gear because we're fucking playing, brother. It's like we're here. The stuff's set up. As long as there's not lightning and it ain't dangerous out there, we're fucking playing this golf. So get ready.
Last year, downpoured. Remember freaking one of our guys,
Essie,
Youngstown Bob, was like playing with his shirt off. Remember that?
There were people slip and sliding shirtless down the 18th fairway last year at Pine Needles Golf Club. So yeah, I felt that was unplayable at the end of the day. But there was like 4 holes left in the tournament, and we do a shotgun start, so it's not like everybody could just quit the same holes. It was like, what do we do? So I felt bad. And people embraced it, but it's like, God, you only got a window. Our whole team flies in. The big 18-wheeler with all the gear sets everything up. And it's like, dude, if it ain't dangerous and the course says we can play, we're playing. So that's sort of like, you just got to kind of embrace it these next couple of days. So I'm praying for it not to be too bad. We're going to make sure everybody has the best time that they can out there. But yeah, there's a hurricane coming through.
Be interesting for sure.
I know. All right. Thank you, everybody, as always, for listening. It was awesome seeing, Frankie mentioned earlier, just seeing so many people out of Bethpage was really, really, really cool. Everybody's so nice, taking pictures, buying the merchandise, all of it. A bunch of people were chatting it up with my parents throughout the weekend, which I know they love. So awesome time. Congratulations to Europe. We got to pick up the pieces, and we'll be back Thursday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.